Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back with another Legacy League, and we are playing Blue-Black Nethergoyf Tempo. That's right, we're playing a pure tempo deck with lots of 1-drops today. First, let's take a look at how the deck functions. So, we have Wasteland, we have Daze, and our goal is to essentially put a threat into play and guard it until we can get across the finish line. We have 4 Tamiyo Inquisitive Student, who flip into Tamiyo Seasoned Scholar, a very powerful planeswalker that can end the game very quickly for 1 blue mana. Crazy how powerful these cards they're printing today. This is one of the most powerful cards in Modern Horizons 3. We also have Psychic Frog, which can attack and draw cards and snowball like crazy. In my opinion, both Psychic Frog and Tamiyo are cards that may get banned within the next 18 months. Nethergoyf is a powerful threat. It's like a Tarmogoyf, but it just looks at your graveyard, so the number of types of cards you have in your graveyard is its power and its toughness. But it also has the ability to return into play, and most importantly, it only costs 1 black mana to put this into play, whereas Tarmogoyf costs 2. The difference between a 1 mana spell and a 2 mana spell in Legacy is huge because people are playing cards like Daze, people are playing cards like Wasteland. So our goal is to squeeze them and get them to make compromising plays that essentially are suboptimal because they're worried about getting dazed, or because they have to play into daze, or just dig like crazy because they have to find removal for Frog before it takes over the game. So we are going to be very much the aggressor here in pretty much every matchup we play. We do have a couple cards that are just meta calls. We have 2 Baleful Strix. I think this card's incredible right now. It's not good when Orcish Bowmasters is everywhere, but Orcish Bowmasters is not everywhere yet, and it might not be. I think Orcish Bowmasters has become an incredible sideboard option, and what I'm planning to do is board this in whenever we have matches that are relatively creatureless, where our Fatal Pushes and our Dismember are not very useful. We can board this in. We can board this in replacement of Tamiyo if we're against like Death and Taxes, and we can expect them to have a whole lot of Caracases. I'm really excited to see how this does. A couple other quick sideboard cards. Consign to Memory, great against Eldrazi, great against Karnforge, great against 12 Post. We've got 2 Hydroblasts. I almost want this to be 3, but I'm not sure what to cut. We have a single Counterbalance, which works well because we have Baubles, and we do have some degree of deck manipulation. I'm not sure. This will probably just come in Tempo Mirrors. We have a Surgical Extraction and Nile Spellbomb. Minimal Graveyard Respect. We have Harbinger of the Seas. We actually are a 2-color deck that can play 2 basics. Very strong. This is something that Grixis Delver cannot do. They can't play any basics, right? And here we are playing 2 of them. So we can lock out lands decks, 12 Post. We can even potentially lock out Eldrazi from being able to cast their spells. This is very powerful. And against 4-color control, 5-color control, greed piles. A couple other notes. Our mana base is very simple. We don't have any Surveil lands. We don't want any ETB tap lands at all. We have 9 fetches, we have 6 fetchables, and we have 4 wastelands. We are playing an extra Preordain just to boost the sorcery count for Nethergoyf, and as a potential way of flipping Tamiyo. We definitely want to flip her in this matchup. We're probably not going to be content to just sit back and stock up on clues. So, as always, we're playing 5 rounds. Should be really fun. I hope you enjoy it. I'll see you in round 1. All right, we're here in round 1 against Saito-san, most likely on Maverick. As of a few months ago, they are a pretty dedicated Maverick player. This is not a terrible matchup in my mind. I could be wrong. They do have 4 wastelands, but I think we go for it and we put some pressure on the table here. We have Ponder to find our second land. I don't think opening... Well, we'll see what they do. If they open with Elvish Reclaimer, I'm just going to push it. I don't like Elvish Reclaimer, and I don't want it to stay on the table. Bird of Paradise is probably okay. I'm not gonna bolt that bird. All right, we could totally get destroyed here if they happen to have a Wasteland. Do we play around Wasteland? We have 17 lands left in our deck. If we play around Wasteland, we do have Daze for their 3-drop. Yeah, I think I'm going to be a coward and we'll play. I mean, we're on the draw. They have a lot of wastelands of their own. I think it's wise to go ahead, and I think we're rewarded here. These are all cards we want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the Delta on the bottom. I will take the Underground Sea now, and I'll take the Tamiyo next turn. So our plan is to potentially Daze something, get Tamiyo out, flip Tamiyo, and start going up with Tamiyo. If we don't have to Daze something, then we can potentially push something here. Oh, Urza's Saga, we are not very well. Oh, that doesn't matter. I mean, actually, that might matter now that we have a Nethergoyf. It almost kind of makes me want to shuffle Nethergoyf away. Yeah, they didn't do much. So one option I have is just to play out Tamiyo and Brainstorm. That doesn't give us card selection, though. Another option is if they're playing this land out and they don't have a threat, they may not have any 3-drops. They may think I'm not sure what they think we are. Okay, so options. 1, just stick a Psychic Frog, hope they don't have Plow. They may very well have Plow. We have nothing to do, or nothing we can do if they do have Plow. The other option, I think, is just play Tamiyo and chill, which I think is fine, because we have the option of Brainstorming if they get antsy and like try to Plow her, if they want to make good use of their mana, for example. They could have Bowmasters of their own. Let's see. They don't generally... Well, they weren't playing Bowmasters there. So they are playing White of the Reliquary. But this is from a few months ago. So White has proven itself to be very strong. Okay, so I'm just going to Brainstorm here. Okay, wow. Force is good. I think we put back Nethergoyf. I just don't think it's the most powerful here. And we could probably put it back I'll put back this because... I'll draw it next turn. Yeah, and I'll just keep the Dazes. So we're not going to be able to use Tamiyo, but we did blank their removal there, which is good. All right, they have plenty of mana. So it's questionable whether Daze is really going to even do anything here. I think we might want to use Push on a Construct instead because they have so much mana. I'm not sure. So we are drawing a land. I think what we do here is we play out Psychic Frog. And then we have the ability to shuffle if we need to. Psychic Frog has a lot of upside here. Psychic Frog can also potentially tango with one of the Urza Sagas that come our way. Okay, Urza Saga token number 1. If they get Lava Spur Boots, I will probably push the creature they attempt to equip it with. I'm not sure that I do anything in other circumstances. The fact that we have a Force makes me want to maybe just... Oh, they could get... Yeah, this is fine. But I am going to go ahead and fetch here. And I'm going to get my 3rd Underground Sea. Just to maximize, minimize the likelihood that we run out of colored mana. Okay. And now they could get a Needle and Needle our Frog. Which would not be a terrible play, but it would be a very passive play. Because they definitely have, they could be the beatdown here. They could have 4 Force. Okay, Vexing Bauble. Ignoble Hierarch. Okay. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. This gets the minus of... okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and push the other one. That reduces this power. Okay, and now I'm going to block. And I am just going to... discard some cards. I'll discard a Daze, which is pretty bad here. I'll discard another Daze. Now it's a 3/4. If I discard one more card, I can kill it in combat. I think I'm going to discard Force, just because they have this out. So now their Construct should die. All right. Yeah, that's a pretty good turn. It sucks that we had to pitch all those cards, but... those 3 Forces weren't doing us anything as long as this Vexing Bauble's out. They may crack the Bauble now. Let's see what we rip here. I think any removal spell would be good. I am going to continue to go upward with Tamiyo. They're down to 2 mana, so a Wasteland would be incredible here. Well, it wouldn't be incredible since they have these Mana Works. That's not what we want. I'm going to go ahead and start by brainstorming, or pondering. because I want to find something useful here. I don't think any of these are useful. I'm just shuffle. Bobble doesn't do anything here. They can exile our graveyard at any time. I could force them to exile our graveyard by minusing Tamiyo. I don't think that's the play. I'm going to plus Tamiyo. If I attack, they could throw this Hierarch in front of it. I think I'm going to go ahead and exile cards now. I think, let's exile. Boom, boom, boom. I don't care about this creature that much. I'm going to go ahead and attack here. I mean, I could just go really all in on this. It is a risk, though. They've used one of their plows. They may not be able to find a second plow. They might have a few other cards. I think I'm just going to go all in on this. Yeah, because this is... we would just be trading it for an arbitrary draw. I'd rather do damage here. Get them clocked. All right, they're taking 6. We're drawing a card. We have Tamiyo potentially going off next turn. Maybe I don't need to play so aggressively since I have Tamiyo. Oh my goodness, that's great. Yeah, so this, even if it doesn't, I mean, it's going to potentially draw cards. We don't have a way to defend it, but they're going to be attacking this one. They're not going to be attacking this one. But the great thing is, like, even if they attack in for like 1 cheeky damage here, we can block. Okay, Blooming Marsh. So it's just like a fast land, I think. That's what they call those. That's fine. They're exiling our graveyard. We are not going to be able to give flight to our Psychic Frog next turn. They'll get a card. They're going to be up to 5 cards in hand, so they have a lot of options here. Oh, 4 cards, rather. It doesn't look like they're going to attack into our Psychic Frog. If they do, we'll just kill their creature because the Exalted will it'll get debuffed. Okay, don't have the plow. Witherbloom. Okay, that's scary. I mean, that means they can like basically instantly win. Another one. Okay. This is fine. I'm just going to hope Nethergoyf doesn't do anything here. I'm going to buff this. And I'm going to attack, and I'll just pitch the Nethergoyf if they block one of these. They may even double block. If they double block, one of my creatures is getting through, though. The other alternative is keeping this back and guarding Tamiyo. If they have the combo, they have the combo. I'm definitely attacking with this. I think it would be a mistake not to attack. Because at the very least, we're going to kill one of their creatures. Let's see. They're attacking for 2 effectively. 3 with this. So they could knock 3 loyalty off her and keep her from being able to ultimate. I think I am going to keep one of these back. No, I'm just going to attack. And I actually might play out the Nethergoyf just as a chumper. Because I'm going to get a card here if they're not blocking. I suspect they have the combo. I suspect that's what's happening here. Unfortunately, there's not a lot I can do about that if they do have the combo. We can block, we can pitch. Yeah, I'm just going to hold the Fatal Push. And we'll see if we're dead. If we're not dead this turn, they're almost certainly dead. But they are playing a powerful 2-card combo. There's a card called Sink into Stupor. Or Chain of Smog, yeah. Right. They're gaining life here. And yeah, they're going to infinite us. I just want to see if they screw it up somehow. They're not going to screw it up. We're going to die. So each time they do it, we lose 2 life, I believe. Yeah, I'll just concede. There's no point in playing this out. We saw their entire hand. They had an Endurance. They had a Haywire Might. Yeah, so it's not Maverick per se. It's more like Witherbloom combo with Urza Saga. Let's see how we can punish that. First of all, I didn't see any basic lands. So I think the Harbinger's coming in. I think Bowmasters is really good against these decks that have lots of Mana Dorks. They are playing at least one of they may be playing more of the Vexing Baubles. We could counter triggers with Consigned Memory, but I don't think that actually works against what they're doing. Counterbalance. They're playing white of the Reliquary, I think. Well, we didn't see it. We saw it in their previous list. They may be playing a lower to the ground list. One thing about their combo is it's extremely vulnerable to. Okay, I'm keeping Brazen Borrowers in. I think we keep all our removal in. What do we cut? It's not clear to me what we cut here. Cutting Force feels loose, considering they might be boarding in Orcish Bowmasters. We're boarding in our own Orcish Bowmasters. I think we just try to aggro them. Daze does seem good. We're on the play. Maybe Harbinger I don't think is good enough because they have lots of mana dorks. It'll come down late. Strix is passive. Strix is really good against decks that are attacking you like really aggressively, like Eldrazi, but they don't need to attack to win. That makes me want to cut that. I think we could cut 2 forces. Yeah, I'm going to run it like that. You may be wondering, why are you cutting your forces versus a combo deck? We do have Daze. We have lots of ways to disrupt. You can kill the creature, and that stops the combo. But it's not like a dedicated combo deck. It's just a thing their deck can do. I wouldn't be surprised if they dedicated more than 8 slots to it. This is pretty passive, but it does have a Psychic Frog that we can defend. I'm going to keep it. All right, and my intention is to basically just not do anything for the first few turns. I'm not going to burn this Brainstorm off unnecessarily. I'm going to stick a Psychic Frog and hope to get Froggin. Okay. If it's a Mana Dork, I'll just ignore it. Okay, they fetched basic. This is a pain. Options are, of course, to force it just so we don't have to deal with it. The other is to just Daze, but that does mean we're not doing anything for a turn. But I really do want, I'm going to go get an Underground Sea here. I'm going to float and I'm going to Daze this. I don't want to deal with this for the rest of the game. It's just like our hand makes it to where it's not a good thing. We could go ahead and get this in the graveyard and get some selection because we do have a fetch we can crack next turn. I think I want to do that. These are good. This can go back. I think we redraw this and then we'll play on 2 lands for this entire game. I doubt they're playing Urza Saga and Wasteland in their multicolor deck. Let's go ahead and put this out here in case we need to fetch a basic for some reason. So these two are basically joined at the hip. Oh, that's good for us because this means we'll probably be able to get an attack in with Frog. So I'll just fetch here. I don't think there's any reason to fetch basics, so I'm not going to fetch them. Well, they could be playing Choke. All right, I'm going to get a Swamp here because this is the only fetch that gets me a Swamp. And then I will... Oh, I drew an Underground Sea anyway. Well, I guess I'll just play it out and we'll Frog. All right, I'm feeling good about having all this removal. Having interaction in case they do plow. If they plow next turn, they won't be able to make a construct. Okay. All right. Okay, Brainstorm's good. I'm going to go ahead and attack first. I am going to play a land just because I'm definitely going to want to be able to shuffle after brainstorming here. Okay, they're making the token. That's fine if you want to trade. I will do that because I don't want this to get too big. These constructs will get bigger. They scale with one another. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty decent value. They are playing black, so we do need to think about Bowmasters. I think they're probably going to go get a second bubble here. I'm actually totally fine if they get a Pithing Needle on my fetch. I'd rather them do that than get a bubble, and they may get distracted with the value. Nope, they went for the bubble. Okay, so they do have a land drop for this turn. 7 cards in hand, scary. They've shut off our Force. They haven't shut off our Daze, though. We can still hardcast Daze if we need to. Right, I'm thinking just in terms of mana efficiency, this may seem like a suboptimal play, but I'm going to brainstorm first. I wouldn't mind just getting rid of these counter magic spells. I think I'm going to get rid of this land for sure. I think we could get rid of... what are the odds they're actually going to crack it? We don't actually have a way to remove their bauble. They just have to voluntarily get rid of it. I don't think they're going to do that. I think I put this back. I'm going to fetch just now. I'll get a Underground Sea. I'm worried about them having choke. I'm not worried about them having other non-basic hate that I need to worry about. I am going to go ahead and push this just so I can connect and draw a card without having to exile cards from my graveyard, because those cards might come up later. Okay. I'm going to ponder just in case there's a dead card. Then I can discard that. I think what I'm going to do here, I don't want that at all. I can ponder it away. I do want to cast a second frog though. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and attack. Draw a second ponder. Actually, now that I've drawn that ponder, yeah, I am going to have to draw the land, but I think it's okay. I'm just going to do this. I mean, next turn, they could just totally combo me. I'm taking a little bit slower this time. Part of it is like, I'm not used to playing these balls to the wall tempo decks. I'm used to playing, more controlling. So if I'm playing more passively, that might explain why. If you're like a seasoned tempo player and you're like, you should have really pushed your advantage there, that'll be helpful if you give me that feedback. Okay, so this will come in as a 2/2, but I'm happy to trade with it. Okay, so land. Options. We could pitch this land. It's a very natural pitch. I think I'm just going to attack with both and see what they do. I'm happy to just kill their stuff. Okay. That's fine. Okay, they are blocking both. I'm going to discard this land, and our creature should be able to kill their creature, so they lose both creatures, but we don't draw cards. Okay, I'm going to ponder here. Bowmaster seems quite good. It's not going to hit their creatures though. We don't need this delta. I feel like Brainstorm, it's just a matter of time before we draw a dead card that Brainstorm can help us put away. I'm going to do that. I don't think we're going to deploy the Bowmaster this turn cycle. I'm just going to pass. We are totally naked to the combo if they have it, unfortunately. Actually, we're not naked. We have double Fatal Push. I presume they're going to make... Yeah, they're going to make a construct. They're going to go search. We'll see what they get. If they get Lava Spur, that'd be good because they only have one creature. Most likely they're going to get like a second Vexing Bauble or maybe like a Nal Spellbomb. I wouldn't... Did they even see Nethergoyf last game? They may not have seen it, so they may have thought like they don't need the Spellbomb. Pithing Needle. Yeah, the Pithing Needle is good here. So this is going to be a 3/3. So I'll just push it in step and I'll attack and I'll draw my 2 cards. I'm almost certain they're going to name Frog here. Green Sun. I can't interact with that. What could they get here? They're probably going to get Elvish Reclaimer. I think I'm worried that they're going to get the creature that gives protection. I think I'm going to go ahead and push now. Just in case. It's like a Sylvan Safekeeper is the card. I'm worried if they get that, then I wouldn't be able to interact. Xantine Swarm. Interesting. Okay, well, we're going to draw 2 cards next turn, and we can push if we need to. Actually, we have a perfect answer to this. I'm just going to attack first. I don't want them to... I want them to give us cards, and then we can Bowmaster that. All right. Pretty perfect. The fact that we've got double Bowmasters up and Fatal Push. Okay, so this is when they attack. Okay, so I'll just be sure to do this before combat, but they may play stuff before I can do that. Okay, so I just need to, I'll just go ahead and do it now. All right, and we're just going to beat them down with weenies. They've got 4 cards in their hand. Some number of those might be lands because they play a high land count. They probably have the combo if they're going for Xantid Swarm, though. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait for them to discard their hand, and then we're going to push. They've seen 2 pushes. They probably won't expect a third. Yeah, this is the creature, Witherbloom. And now they're going for the combo. I believe the way this works is I can wait until they've discarded the cards and copy it, and then I can push. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and push now. They've discarded their hand. They're going to get us to discard a couple cards, but that doesn't even really matter. They might scoop here. Yeah, great. Wow, that works. Removal for the win. Who would have thought? All right, let's go to game 3. Daze, pretty bad here. I think I take out the Daze. Baleful Strix is pretty good. I liked only having 2 forces because it was dead that game, because they're definitely going to go get the bauble, the Vexing Bauble the second they get a chance. I'm still not seeing any... No, wait, they opened basic forest. I don't think it's correct. Vexing Bauble actually... So, counterbalance, almost everything in their deck that I've seen is a 1 or a 2. I'm almost tempted to bring that in. That might be crazy, but it is something that can counter spells around Vexing Bauble. I think what we do is we probably bring in a force here, and then Harbinger could get them. I don't think it's worth it because they have the mana dorks. I don't think Harbinger's good. I think this is what we're going to run. All right, so I'm going to make one more quick substitution. Actually, Brazen Borrower can knock it out of play too. They are very much a dedicated Witherbloom command or Witherbloom apprentice combo deck with Chain of Smog. So I think 3 forces is enough. I was tempted to bring in the 4th. We've got a lot of removal though. Brazen Borrower is another thing that can do it. This hand doesn't have a path to a second mana. I'm genuinely worried that we're going to get mana screwed. If we don't find a second mana, we just don't do anything. I think I'm mulliganing this. This has the same problem. I'm going to mulligan again. Holy cow. This deck does not mulligan well, and it's because we have 18 lands, but I am going to mulligan one more time. Okay. Definitely the best hand we've gotten so far. I'm going to put back Force. I'll keep. Put back Force. I think we put back Wasteland. I think we put back Ponder. I think Brainstorm is a better card just because we can potentially flip Tamiyo with it. Brainstorm. It's interesting how Beanstalk made Force an even better card, like one of the best cards in the format, and then now Tamiyo is making Brainstorm an even better card. It's like Wizards is unintentionally or intentionally pushing the pillars of the format to be even stronger. Okay. I think we just play this out, and we're going to try to frog. There is no risk because they need at least 2 turns to get the combo online. I don't think there's any real risk that we're going to get comboed at this point. That's fine. All right. No reason to fetch here. We want to maximize the number of potential lands we can draw here. That's a great card. All right. I'm just going to go ahead and play on non-basics. Actually, I'll get a swamp just in case they do have choke. Next turn, they are going to have 4 mana. They could kill me. I don't think they will, though. I think they're going to assume that I mulligan to like a force or something, because I mulligan very aggressively, and they don't know that I'm not mulliganing to a force and that I actually put a force back. So this could just be a catastrophic mistake, leaving them with the ability to combo me. I think most likely they're going to take a turn off, though, to create a construct and to get a Vexing Bauble. They have Plow mana now. Okay, Endurance is not that big of a deal. I will probably Fatal Push the Endurance so I can connect with the Frog. I need to turn on... Okay, that is a scary card. They just put a lot of powerful cards on the table there. All right, Bauble does turn on Fatal Push. But if we Fatal Push, we don't necessarily have a way to answer Xantid Swarm. They're going to go get Vexing Bauble anyway next turn. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and Bauble them. Okay, Grist the Hunger Tide. That is also a very powerful card. That makes me not want to invest too heavily in Psychic Frog. I'm going to hit this so we can connect. I do want to draw a card. If one of the cards we draw is either a land or a Fatal Push, I'll feel more comfortable. Nethergoyf. Okay, so I think we just have to accept that we're almost certainly going to die if they have the combo. We could Brainstorm and try to find some sort of removal. They're going to have Grist coming out. Grist will most likely sack one of these creatures to kill Psychic Frog, but if they have the combo, they're just going to do the combo. And they're going to attack with Xantid Swarm first. So we're not really going to get a window to do anything else. So what I'm going to do is I'm I'm going to go ahead and play this Nethergoyf out, and I'm just going to hope that we can pressure this Grist and that they don't have the combo. All right, here's our draw. A Force. Okay, so if they, for some reason, don't get... Well, it's not going to matter because, again, Xanteed Swarm. Okay, this is great news. They're creating a construct. That is what we want to see. I think they might get a Pithing Needle just because Psychic Frog is kind of a scary card. That's great. They're playing scared, in my humble opinion. We can borrow the construct off the table and connect with some of our threats. Okay. Another Saga. It's interesting to me that they didn't cast Grist, but I think they just wanted to make effective use of their Sagas. But this means that they're not really going to have the liberty of doing Saga things. Okay, so we do take 1 damage here because of Exalted. So our best draw at this point, in my humble opinion, is probably a Wasteland. That's not bad. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play this out. I think we attack with everything. They may block Construct. Actually, I can make it so they can't block Construct. I'm not sure if that's good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and Brainstorm first. Because this Force of Will is going to be... well, Force of Will actually... yeah, it's pretty dead. I'm going to put these forces back. I don't think they're going to do us any good. I'll play this out. And now... oh, did I already play out a land? I did. I'm dumb. Okay, I'm going to go get an Underground Sea here. And I'm just going to borrow that construct back to hand so I can potentially connect with a frog. And then we're just going to chill and see if we're dead. I don't... oh, no, I hit the freaking wrong button. Oh, I'm so dumb. Okay, yeah, that was really dumb. I meant to borrow her. Well, I'll just hit him for 3. And I guess, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Because I have to get this out of the way if I want to be able to... attack with Psychic Frog. My intention was to attack with Psychic Frog and have them have to sacrifice Ignoble Hierarch. Yeah, so I think we've lost. I'm not sure. Obviously, that there was that punt right there, but if they have the combo, they have the combo. That doesn't really. Well, that does actually potentially shrink my Nile Spell Bomb, and they're just doing it right now, which is fine. Okay, they're spending a lot of mana on this, but they do still have enough mana to create a construct. They should create the construct now so they can do more damage. We're down to 7 minutes on our clock. I wasn't expecting for a tempo deck like ours to go to time that much, but I've been playing it in a very controlling way because of my discovery that it is actually a combo deck. I will block here just to save a damage. I don't think there's any harm in blocking. The good news is we're going to have a lot of mana to use these Tamiyo tokens that we get. I'm amazed they didn't attack there. All right, let's see what they kill. They may think that Psychic Frog is neutralized and they can just kill Tamiyo instead. They're plussing. Okay. Well, they can basically plus every single turn and keep Psychic Frog at bay. Not the best draw. Okay, so let's say hypothetically we can't discard the Psychic Frog, so we can't buff Nethergoyf. Our options. I think we play out the land. I don't think that's anything we have to think about. I think we attack with Tamiyo. So we could bounce this, attack with Tamiyo, and then they need to sacrifice the bug. I think that's fine. They did tap out. I mean, we could have given Psychic Frog, bounce that back to hand. I don't think that's a winning play. I'm just going to attack with everything. I'll attack Grist. And I'll attack. Doesn't matter. This should get them to block. If they don't block, they're crazy because I'm going to get a card. Okay. Yeah, I figured. Okay. Now, I think I'm just going to go ahead and deploy this Psychic Frog because I think we've kind of resigned ourselves to the fate. Drawing a 0, there's nothing we're going to draw off this clue that's suddenly going to change the game for us. This way, at least we're kind of pressuring them a little bit. Okay. We'll see what they get. I wouldn't be surprised if they get a Vexing Bauble here. Vexing Bauble. Our best draw is probably Bowmasters. If we Bowmaster, we might be able to surprise them and they sack the Vexing Bauble and then we, can take out 2 of their creatures instead of just 1. The fact that they didn't create a construct is alarming. It may mean that they have the combo. Green Sun. Yeah, I think they probably have the combo. They're probably going to go get Witherbloom with Apprentice here. Yeah, and then if they have the combo, they're going to attack us first, and then it doesn't matter because we don't have... I can't think of a reason why they would get that unless they had the combo. All right, so I'm going to chalk this loss up to me misplaying in some way that I don't yet know, and relative inexperience with just like pure tempo archetype. I mean, you could say, but be excellent. You've been playing, you've been playing Stiflenought for like several months now, on and off. And yeah, that's totally true criticism. Stiflenought is a little bit more control-y than this. This is just like basically blue-black Delver. All right, we're back for round 2 against a dedicated Goblins player. They've been playing Goblins a lot. They actually switched from Doomsday to Goblins. Interesting switch. But they've been playing Goblins as of a few days ago. So we should assume that they're on Goblins. This is likely their list. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Baleful Strix is good against Goblins. We can Island Ponder, I think, is good. And we have lots of removal. They mulligan to 6. They're mulliganing to 5. Maybe they are Doomsday. Well, actually, we're fine if they're on Doomsday. They're mulliganing to 4. Well, that's a great way to start this match. Okay. This is a Goblins opener. Okay, Vial. We don't have a way to deal with Vial. I think with 2 cards in their hand, we just let them have it. My reasoning is we need to stop the actual threats, not the enablers. All right, so what I'll do is I'll just play out. Having no play turn 1 is kind of embarrassing. I think I'm going to go get Island, and I'm going to Ponder. And I'm going to try to find a threat that can kill them quickly, like a Nethergoyf. This doesn't have a threat that can kill them quickly. I think we just shuffle this. Borrower's not terrible. It could bounce back to their hand and attack them later. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to keep this. And I'll go like this. Probably should have put Preordain in my hand because that would definitely be the card I pitch if I force. My plan is next turn, fetch Strix, and the subsequent turn, bounce the Vial back to hand. Okay, port. I'm not scared of that. That does disincentivize us. They're probably going to port us here. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I actually probably do want the land that's under this now. I think I'm just going to wait. I mean, the other option, of course, is just waste the port and don't think too much about it. We'll see what they do here. If they're not going to port us next turn, if they're going to cast something, then port might be the right call. Or then Wasteland, or yeah. I think this is fine. I know I have a land. I'm going to be able to successfully cast this Baleful Strix. The other alternative is, okay, check this out. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to go get a Swamp, because I do think they're going to be messing with our mana. And I'm just going to go ahead and bounce this now. Then I'm going to waste their port. Okay, and they didn't have anything coming out of the Vial, which is nice, because I didn't have a lot of mana for removal. All right, and this helps with the... I mean, it would be great if we like somehow ripped a Daze here. That would just be like the all-time best. Crater Maker is not the most dangerous creature. Good to know about. All right, we get our card. Nethergoyf, that's what we wanted. All right, so we have Nethergoyf Dismember. If they just Vial here, I'm just going to force it. I already have a Ponder in my graveyard, so this Preordain is redundant. The only reason I'm playing Preordain is to have another card to feed Nethergoyf. Okay, I'm just going to play out Nethergoyf because it represents the most damage, and I'll keep Dismember up. This should kill them pretty quickly unless they draw land. That's a good card. I'm just going to Dismember it because I want the mana next turn for Strix, and I don't have black mana. Okay. Another Nethergoyf. Well, don't mind if I do. Yeah. Swing in here. It kind of sucks that I can't make good use of this blue mana. Had I gotten a dual land instead of being a coward, I would be able to use it, but I'm feeling good about our mana base. Like, Wasteland is not going to do anything here. I think they're scooping. All right. That was decisive. My opponent mulled to 4, so I'm not going to be doing like victory laps and being like, woohoo, you know? Guy standing on, like spraying himself with the champagne, and then like you see that he's standing on the 3rd. This is a very good card here. It presents blockers, and it's also very disruptive. Cards that are not good here. I don't think Daze is good against their deck. Certainly not on the draw. Counterbalance is not good. Harbinger is not good. We could trim a couple forces. Like going down on cards is definitely bad feeling, and we've brought in some interaction here. I don't want to take out Strix. I don't want to take out Tamiyo, because Tamiyo we saw in a league that I published yesterday. Technically, I published it today, but when you're watching this, it will have been yesterday. And Tamiyo against the Goblins deck, like they had like 4, 1/1 creatures, and it kept them all at bay. Okay, we're gonna mulligan here. This is a keep. Okay, I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna put back Redundant Tamiyo. Yeah, I'm gonna put back Redundant Tamiyo. I'm probably gonna get. I don't know if I play on basics here, because if they're playing port, that punishes you for playing on basics. So it's kind of like the Rishon on port Wasteland squeeze, where it's like, oh, I need to fetch my basics so I'll have my colors, or so I don't get Wastelanded, but then I won't have my colors when they port me. Okay, we didn't draw a land. I was like, if we draw a land, it's going to make this really easy. Unfortunately, these Wastelands are terrible, because we're not going to be wasting into our opponent's vial. I think Tamiyo is higher upside, and I do think, sadly, that we're going to have to go get the island here, because I just don't want to be wasted off my cantrips. So I can Tamiyo this turn. Next turn I can brainstorm, hopefully find a non-wasteland land. All right, and they are taking up their vial as expected. They do have a wastable land. Lackey is a very good card that I have a profound amount of respect for. All right, I mean, Tamiyo can wall Lackey, but you know what else walls Lackey? Check this out. I'm going to go to combat. I'm going to attack. We're going to get our clue. Now, there is some risk reward here, because like they could have red blast, which would be catastrophic. If they do, they do. If they don't, this Tamiyo is going to flip. And yeah, and we're going to be able to minus the Lackey here. So we didn't find a black source, which is troubling. Well, I'm going to play out the Wasteland and waste them, as bad as it feels. So I think actually Wasteland is better than backup Tamiyo. Although backup Tamiyo could, if they can deal with my, yeah, I do want to keep backup Tamiyo. I think what I'm going to put back is Psychic Frog number 2, because like as great as it is, like I'll probably want to, yeah, so I'll flip, draw. There's a legitimate question as to whether I would just want to keep these Wastelands in play so I can, but I don't think I do. I was thinking like, oh, if I keep the Wasteland in play, then I can activate the clue. But I can always do that later. Next turn, I'm probably just going to activate the clue. But this way, oh, yeah, well, it doesn't matter. You can attack with as many of those as you want, unless you have something that buffs them. If you have something that buffs them, then there's nothing I can do. You're going to be able to put your hand in the play. So the Runevelt guy is one option. All right, and they are trying to decide what to do. They've got a lot of options, though. That Wasteland may have been good. They haven't played a land yet. Well, actually, it was still my turn. Never mind. Okay, so yeah, they are playing something out. This could be the Runevelt guy, and if it is, we're dead. It is. What's this guy called? Runevelt Hordemaster. Yeah, so they are going to be able to successfully attack, and if they attack me instead of Tamiyo, they are going to be able to put a creature into play. Let's see what they do here. This could be a very fast scoop. We know we're not drawing anything useful. They are indeed attacking me. Let's see if they put a Muxus in. I mean, they have to have gas. They don't have any lands. Matron. Okay, I'm just going to scoop. What they're going to do is they're going to go get Muxus, and they're going to put Muxus in on the second trigger. Yeah. Well, let's see what they get. I'm just going to see. I might learn some information about their sideboarding strategy here. Okay, so they revealed Bloodstained Mire, Wasteland, Mog War Marshal, Woodhill. Well, this is like the worst Muxus of all time, but it's still going to beat me. I'm just going to concede. All right, let's go to game 3. I I feel like our sideboard strategy is solid. Daze, not a good card against Aether Vial decks. Yeah, I don't think there's really anything we want to change here. I like having a ton of removal. We just didn't draw lands there, not colored lands. They do have a strong mana denial package that we have to respect. I'm going to be on the play. I mean, you could definitely argue that Daze is good on the play, but I would rather have Orcish Bowmaster and just have tons of threats. I think we keep this. We open Nethergoyf. Then we can, see what they do, and we can potentially dismember or fatal push. And we're like, the goal is to keep their board clear and just keep pounding them with Nethergoyf. It's a very pathetic creature now, but it will grow. All right, they had Val all 3 games. It's a very strong card, and they did not even need to mulligan to it this game. The reason it's so strong, by the way, is because they can end the turn, put Lackey in, which is just devastating. So we could Tamiyo here and just hold up removal. I think that's probably fine. There's nothing for me to remove. I'll just pass. Yeah, it's very sad Nethergoyf there. There's so many cards we can draw. If we get an opportunity to discard the Strix somehow, it's going to give Nethergoyf 2 power, 2 toughness. Okay, they're playing a port, so this makes me happier that I did play out the cards that I did. So they're going to port, which is fine. I don't have any instant speed interaction because they don't have any creatures out yet. I'm going to play out this. I'm going to attack. Okay, so they could have a sequence where they're able to both kill my Strix and attack with a Lackey. I'm going to take the risk. Because Strix is really good here. We need to do something. We could hold 2 removal spells up, but that seems incredibly passive. What if they don't have the Lackey? Okay, they probably will have the Lackey. They always have Vile Lackey. Show me the Lackey. Yeah, always. They always have Vile Lackey. Now, any sort of removal spell, and they can connect with Lackey. All right, what is this? Explosives Engineer? Munitions Expert, rather? Yeah. And they're going to connect, just like that. And I don't think we misplayed. I think that was the correct thing to do. Oh, actually, it was totally incorrect to attack with Nethergoyf there. That Nethergoyf didn't even have any power and toughness. That was dumb. Okay, yeah, they got freaking Mexes. Okay, so we're learning, obviously, yeah, Sting Scourger. I don't think we're coming back from this. They have Broadside. I'm going to concede. I know that may be very satisfying and it may feel like premature, but trust me, there's no coming back from this. Once Mux is resolved, I've played against the old Goblin deck quite a bit, and it just savaged me repeatedly, and I don't want to waste your time in a hopeless battle trying to remove their permanents when they're attacking with Muxus for huge amounts every game. This deck was just not designed to be able to play against that. And if you notice, they never caught... Did they cast a single spell? I don't think they did. They did everything off Vial. Actually, Munitions Expert also came in off Vial. So Daze is notoriously bad against decks that play a lot of basic land. Daze is terrible against Death and Taxes, and Death and Taxes, like Vile Goblins, is also a Vile deck. So I don't have any regrets about boarding out Daze. I think if I have any regret, it's that I attacked with that Nethergoyf, because I could have definitely just blocked. And they would have been, yeah, that was just a total punt. If I do that, granted, they still probably had an edge over us. I think it's a bad matchup for us. But had I not attacked with Nethergoyf for 0, just I'm just so used to attack all, that it didn't occur to me. So yeah, if you're in the comments chewing me out, please, by all means, chew me out. I made a huge mistake there. Let's say hypothetically I didn't attack, then I would have no mana up, but I would have a blocker. I would have 2 blockers. I'd have and they wouldn't likely be able to get the Lackey through. This is another hand without a colored mana source. Let's see what Leofa's up to. All right, it looks like they're likely on Bant Stoneblade. This is an older list, back when Nadu was playing Stoneforge Mystic, but Nadu decks have moved on and realized how much better. Nadu decks have realized how much better Nomad's Encore is than Shuko. I'm going to keep this. No, I'm not going to keep it. I'm going to mulligan this is what I meant to say. I'm not going to keep a functionally a no-lander. I'll keep this. So I don't believe that their deck has any wastelands or anything in it. I think the correct sequence of cards is probably we're Nethergoyfing, we're bobbling, and we're attacking in. Next turn we can potentially Tamiyo. Okay, the other option, it's a little more exotic. Tamiyo. Turn 2, we so we could bobble during their end step, and then we could Strix, and with the bobble draw and the Strix entering, that presumes that we're going to draw a land next turn. I'm going to keep it, or I'm going to plan for that world. I think I'm going to pitch. So I could pitch Force, which I don't have mana to cast with that current plan. I could pitch a Nethergoyf and just hope that we're going to apply pressure through Tamiyo. I think it's fine. I need to keep removal because they're a creature combo deck, likely. All right, I'm going to... I mean, there's no reason to... If I get a colored mana source, it's almost certainly going to tap for black. So I think I can get the island here safely. I don't have any other colored mana sources in my deck that don't tap for black. And I'll play this out. And then during their turn, I will use it. I'll use it during their upkeep so I can see what they're drawing for the turn. Okay, Brainstorm. So, yeah, that is helpful a little bit. But we'll quickly see from their mana base. Oh, okay. So they're definitely on Nadu. Okay. So we're going to get our card, and then we just have to hope to find a fetch land or an underground sea or a swamp in those top two. Oh, we didn't get there. Damn. All right. Well, sorry if that was a little loud. Yeah, I'll create the token. I think I am going to bolt the bird. I'm not worried about them. I don't want them to be able to cast that if like this was their sole land and they were hoping to get there on Birds of Paradise. If they force, I will 100% force back with Tamiyo. Tamiyo is basically glued to this force at this point. Okay, so we bolted the bird at great expense in terms of life total. If we do draw another go, if we have a pretty good array of types of cards out there, yeah, Ponder is fine. We really just need to find another land. And we don't want a wasteland. We want a colored mana source. Any colored mana source will do. Any fetch will do. So that is 8 remaining in our deck plus, I think, 6. So 14 cards out of 51. Not the greatest chance. Like 1 in 3, 1 in 4. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and ponder and hope to find a land. That is a land and another go. If we can't do both this turn, I don't think they're going to be going after our mana at all. So I'm going to put that back. I'll play out another go next turn, and I will draw Flooded Strain and play it now. This gives us the option, if we need to pivot to being more defensive. Yeah. Next turn, what I'll probably do is... Do we need another go? I think we do want a clock on board. If this is Nadu, I'll force it. No questions asked. If they can respond to this, I'll be very scared. But I do have a Brazen Borrower. Yep, they're forcing back. This is pretty bad. Yeah, I was like really enthusiastic about this deck, but it's been like super clunky so far. Just playing pure tempo. Maybe I'm just not built for it. I don't have the constitution for it. So I think Strix is going to be more important here, but we're not going to have a way to flip. I'm thinking, do we want the Nethergoyf? Nethergoyf would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a 5/6. We want the Nethergoyf. So what I'll do is I'll Strix and then I'll Nethergoyf. And that does leave us vulnerable if they have the combo, but they don't have white mana and they haven't played out the core. So I'm going to go get my Underground Sea. So I was wrong. It's a 4/5 because I don't have creature in the graveyard yet. I miscounted. But I still think 4/5 is strong enough to be worth it. The other alternative, of course, is that I Strix first. I think playing Nethergoyf is higher expected value because if they just are attacking with Nadu, I can deploy the Strix next turn. Also, this keeps up some illusion that we actually have something we can do. I'm not going to attack him with Tamiyo. If they're heavily disincentivized to attack with Nadu, because then we can start attacking with Tamiyo again. Let's see if they have the card. Uro, scary against our deck for sure. We don't have any exile-based removal. It can definitely slow... gaining life is definitely a good way to counter Nethergoyf and potentially win the race. Okay, they're not attacking though, which makes me think either they think they have the combo or they know they have the combo. So if we have a mana, we can potentially crack here. I'll just attack with this. I don't think it's safe to attack the other way. And then I'll cast a Strix. And then I'll hopefully draw a way to get Fatal Push turned on. Currently, Fatal Push doesn't do anything. And I don't have the mana to both crack a clue and to deploy a Fatal Push. Next turn, they can't bring Uro back, but they are getting close. That'll flip Tamiyo next turn. All right. This, importantly, does slow Uro down quite a bit. They have to fill their yard. When they attack in, they gain life, they get cards and all that stuff. But like this can wall Uro for at least one rotation. I don't think we're favored, though. I think we're likely going to lose this. Okay, now they get the thing, and we lose. I'm just going to wait and make them do it. In fact, I'm just going to F6 here. Yeah, this is Legacy 2024. This is the least fun deck to play against here. Because, Miracles is pretty unfun to play against, but you can see they're getting lots of land. They almost certainly will flip a creature that they can play out, and then they can keep it going. And it just feels like you're playing against like a glitched, like there's a glitch on MTGO. Or there's a glitch, but it's actually like the rules of Magic. They like actively introduced this glitch. So now, yeah, I'm not gonna wait. I got better things to do. This league is already like, I'm just trying to get my money back and get a 3-1 or a 3-2. But yeah, I don't know that we made a mistake because we didn't have a way to get rid of it with Fatal Push. You could say, oh, but if you'd held mana up, you could have bounced it back to their hand. But what does that really accomplish over a longer period of time? I don't think it does very much. And in fact, I don't even think Borrower is good in this matchup. I do think Bowmasters is okay. And I definitely think Harbinger. Harbinger's pretty mediocre. Yeah, I don't think Harbinger's that great either. Daze is good. It's not great. We didn't see any I think we do bring in Harbinger. It's like a nice controlling element. If they're going to be fetching basics because we're going to be wasting them. I really think that this card is just for like lands matchups. Because they're only a 3-color version. They're not like super duper greedy. They can play basics and stuff. Now Spellbomb's not terrible considering they're playing Uro, but it's not great. I feel like if we're to the point in the game when Uro's coming out, we screwed up. They're not using their graveyard for anything else, I don't think. I think I'm going to go down on Daze. I think that's the call. We do want to potentially Nethergoyf them. A single Daze, if I draw 2 Dazes, I'll be very sad. So I'd rather just only run the risk of likely running into one. This hand is super duper passive, but it does have a flip Tamiyo. I'm going to keep it. All right, so I'm going to start. Next turn, I can not only play Tamiyo, but defend her. That's not the aggro tempo thing to do, though. Yeah, I think I'm going to just play her out. I will go ahead and do this. Having the island in hand is basically as good as fetching it and having it in play. Not that I expect their deck to do anything. I'm just going to go ahead and use this now because I'm not going to use it to flip Tamiyo. Okay, they've got a Living Wish on top. That's basically either half of the combo. All right, Nethergoyf's a great pickup. We can apply pressure and we can flip Tamiyo. That card is super annoying. Yeah, we're going to need to kill them very quickly here. All right, Preordain gives us a sorcery in the graveyard. I think I'm going to start by flipping Tamiyo. Well, I'll play this out just in case. Heaven forbid. They do have a Daze in their deck. I should have attacked. That was dumb. There's no reason I shouldn't have attacked there. Okay, I think we put this back. We can put this back. This is the inferior of the two sorceries. Tamiyo flips. Yeah, we just totally should have attacked there. That was dumb. Okay, so I'm going to plus. They could have it as early as next turn, unfortunately, with the delighted halfling. There's nothing I can do. I can take comfort in the fact that there's nothing I can do. But basically, for the subsequent turns, we're just going to be firing wastelands at them and attacking them with Nethergoyfs. And taking this up. Okay, Living Wish. We'll see what they get. I don't want to presume what they get, like Nadu. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so we'll start firing wastelands at them and hoping that they run out of mana. But if they don't, they are going to be able to resolve. All right. Actually, this is pretty good because I'm going to waste this. I'm going to push this. That's fine. I'm not sure why they're doing it now. Maybe they desperately want to force that. Okay, that's great. Ding dong, the witch is dead. No, it's not dead. This means that they may be able to cast Nadu next turn. Actually, I think, call me crazy, but recurring the Fatal Push and just pushing it a second time feels okay. Because, like, what if they are truly stuck on lands? Next turn, we're going to be able to waste their remaining land. Okay. I feel pretty good about that decision. I don't think Tamiyo Plussing would have done anything there. I don't think the game's going to go long enough for us to ultimate. Any non-basic they play will get wasted. Like, I'll definitely prioritize green sources. Okay. I'll be very sad if they're able to produce another Mina Dork here. It looks like they are. Nomad is fine. I'm just going to ignore it. It does nothing without the Nadu. So let's go ahead and hit that. This might prompt a concession. I should have freaking pondered there. That was a misplay. I could have gotten extra damage. Okay. We're going to tighten up. Ponder. Bowmasters does kill that thing. And I don't need any of this other stuff, but I think Bowmasters is so good. It's worth it. And I'm just going to play out Nethergoyf 2. We have Daze, and next turn we have Bowmasters. I don't think they're going to be able to win this. I'll be stunned if they can come back from this. Okay, that's a one way to come back. They're one card away from not owing here. They're going to go get a Mana Dork, which I'm going to Daze that. I don't want them to get a Mana Dork. So they have one unknown, one Nadu. Okay, so we have two options. One, we go ahead and play out this. I can play this out. I definitely want to fetch away the back of Tamiyo. We can cast Bowmasters, but then they might be able to cast Nadu next turn. Alternatively, we could Fatal Push. We get Daze back, and then they can't cast Nadu. I think I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to play reasonably and not do anything too dramatic, and I'll reserve the ability to Tamiyo next turn, and I can just plus her here. All right. And now we'll plus, and we are going to attack for 8. They are dead on board. They are very dead on board. They're dead through pretty much anything. Yeah, and they're conceding. Okay, cool. We got a game against Nadu. That was just pure tempo. That's how this deck is supposed to play. It's like balls to the wall. Daze is pretty bad here. We showed it to him. They're going to be on the play. Is there anything better than Daze? Spellbomb? No. I mean, Daze can get them. It's not the worst. I don't want to bring in Spellbomb just for Uro. Brazen Borrower still feels pretty weak here because, like, most of their creatures have ETB triggers. They don't have any tokens in their deck. Yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to hope for to run back what we did last game where we bully their mana base because they do have a lot of colors. I guess they are playing black as well. I think we keep this on the strength of the double force, which we'll probably force pitch force. but I want to get Psychic Frog online. I think I'm going to try to cheese here. Because we force pitch force, we waste, and then we... Yeah, I can't let this resolve. Not without a removal spell in my hand. Okay. So we could potentially just go Big Frog here. Green is a very important color to them. I'm going to waste it. And I'll feel really dumb if they just untap, play another Mana Dork off of a green land. Okay, so the fact that they're playing that means this is probably the last land in their hand, or they just don't have any other spells to cast here, both of which are reasonable explanations. Tamiyo would be good. Nethergoyf is not bad. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll just Underground Sea Nethergoyf here, and we'll pass. And we have the potential to... it's possible that they plow this, which would be great, because we want to clear the path for Psychic Frog to take over the game. Okay, they have second White Source. Okay, Living Wish. This is probably going to get Nadu, unfortunately. Whatever it gets will tell us what they have in hand. Okay, so they got Cavern of Souls, which means they have Nadu. So we desperately need to waste them now. All right, so options. 1, we Brainstorm, which takes us off Psychic Frog, and we can potentially find a Wasteland. Even if we find a Wasteland, they're just one land away from Naduing. They could have like a Leovold or something. There's a lot of scary stuff they could have. I know they have Leovold in their deck, and they probably have another one in their wish board. The other option is just to play the Frog. Frog's powerful. It can jump over Nadu. Oh, it can't jump over Nadu, but they won't want to block it with their Nadu. They're not going to be able to play Nadu and the other creature this turn. I think this, like them resolving a Nadu is terrible, but we can still potentially deal with it. I'm going to play this out first, because if they counter it, okay, they didn't counter it. It would buff the Nethergoyf. All right, Moment of Truth. It's going to be Cavern on Wizard probably into Nadu, and they're going to hope to next turn resolve either another, I mean, they may just have the Nomad in hand. I think they play 4 of them. That's fine. So if we find a sorcery, Nethergoyf can potentially be big enough. I don't think Tamiyo is fast enough. I think we need to get rid of this stat. I'm going to Brainstorm. Baleful Strix is actually something we can discard to buff Nethergoyf. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. We don't need either of these lands. Ponder's a good top deck. Okay, I think actually... Okay, I need to think. Okay, so we attack with Nethergoyf and with Psychic Frog. There's a good chance that they'll block the Nethergoyf. Then we discard Baleful Strix, doing even more damage to them. Because like we need to somehow kill Nadu this turn, and we don't have the removal to do it. Also, Baleful Strix is not going to do it because they're going to be blocking. They're going to be walled up. They're not going to be attacking in. So we would need to discard 3 cards. So we're putting back 1, 2. So we'll have 4 cards in hand. So we can actually deploy a Psychic Frog this turn, but that would involve us playing another land, which we don't want to play. So I think what we do here, I'm going to put Tamiyo Psychic Frog back. Now I'm going to Ponder, which will give us another type in our guard and give us a new card. I'm going to shuffle these. I probably should have held on to Psychic Frog. I'm already starting to doubt this line. Wasteland does hit Savannah, but they're still going to have the ability. I think we do have to go after the mana. I'll just go after... I mean, this can cast other creatures. It could potentially cast a follow-up. Nadu. I don't like it, but I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'm just going to attack like this and see what they do. Okay. So they didn't block. So I think I'm going to discard this. And I think I can probably discard this. I just don't think it's likely that we're going to need it. We're going We're going to draw a card here. I think I'm going to go all in. I'm going to discard all these. Yeah. We're going to do 9. So they're dead on board. We drew a Bowmasters. That's good. They're going to need land and the other creature, Nomad. I presume they have that because they went for that one card. Okay. This is, unfortunately, we can't punish this with Bowmasters, but I'm happy to have Bowmasters in hand. They could be digging for Nomads. Sylvan Safekeeper. Nothing we can do about that. And now they're probably going to play the Nomads. And then they're going to be able to draw 12 cards at least. Okay, interesting. Very interesting. They're just doing that to draw cards. It's interesting they didn't even wait for the trigger to resolve before they saw what they got. Do they find it? Okay, there's land for turn. They can Sylvan Safekeeper to target their own creature, to target Sylvan Safekeeper if they need to turn further. But they're just desperately trying to find the card. The fact that they're fetching here, I'm not sure what they're yeah. Black. What is this? Bristly Bill, maybe? Okay, they're sacking. This is very good for us, by the way. The fact that they sacked all their land. They should have just waited. Oh, wow. Did we win? They have Nomads, but they don't have the mana to cast it. I think we won. They're still going to have a turn. They have Nomads in hand now. Okay, they can play that out. If they don't have any creatures, though, I'm going to hardcore hit. I'll hit Sylvan Safekeeper. I'm going to hit the bird. They may have force. I haven't played the Nadu deck, so I'm not sure like whether that's a common situation to find yourself in. They should definitely force. They have a force here. Okay, they do force. All right. So they have the combo next turn. There's nothing we can do about it. They probably have a force block on Sylvan Safekeeper. It's certainly possible that even if they combo now, we can still win. Okay, they are going to be able to combo. They're going to get 12 cards basically by the time we have our next turn. But they are going to need to deal with both of these. So this will be interesting to see. Just to show you how broken the Nadu deck is. I believe it's broken, and I believe Nadu should be banned. People are always telling me it's not that bad, blah, 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 blah. I'm just going to F6 here. There's nothing I can do, and let's see what they do. They can start flipping cards. They can start potentially finding lands. Okay, Green Sun revealed itself. Okay. Nomad. Okay, they've got like 3 or 4 more flips. Okay, they found a land. And keep in mind, they're going to be able to do this again during next turn. Had I given Psychic Frog flying, they would have had to block with either. So that was the punt. That was the punt. I was wondering what the punt was, but yeah, not giving Psychic Frog flying and letting them block with Sylvan Safekeeper was the punt. Okay, so they're going to go get a Dryad, and they can do 2 more times. It's important to note they can't force, and they can't crack fetches because they're at 1. They may be able to gain life, though. Green. Okay, another bird. 2 more. Looks. Also, this bird can chump my Psychic Frog here. I think if I give it a flight, they would have had to block with birds, and they wouldn't have necessarily had the mana. So yeah, I think that was a game-losing punt. So I'm learning a lot. I hope you're learning a lot too. I know it's frustrating to like be watching a YouTube video and like the person just makes these punts and you're like, no, you're making a mistake. We should fly. So that way we force them to block with the bird, but yeah, we just kind of put them in the abyss for 2 creatures. So I'll exile cards that don't reduce the power. 1, 2, 3. I think I'm just going to attack with all. I don't think there's any benefit to playing Bobbled now. Okay, so we did get 2 of those creatures. Oh, they didn't activate. That's interesting. They should have activated. All right, I think I'm going to go ahead and just destroy that card. I mean, like, we're just not going to have that many opportunities when they're like going off and stuff. And I am going to go ahead and cast this, and we'll see if I draw a Bowmaster, that's win. Not necessarily, but likely a win. Okay, that card is good for them, but it's not like game winning. Okay, now they're Naduing. They could have Nadu twice more if they had waited. I'm just going to let F6 through this turn, and then we'll see what our top card is. If it's a Birds of Paradise, I don't think they can force to protect themselves. Or, I'm sorry, if it's a Bowmasters. We have 3 more Bowmasters and 43 cards. It's unlikely, but it is possible. You may be wondering, like, how do they win? They can just go get Thassa's Oracle with Living Wish, which they'll likely have. Let's take a look at their reveal cards. We can see what they have. So it's unlikely we're ever going to get through the wall of creatures they're able to present. If you want to watch me play this deck, let me know in the comments. I don't want to play this, but I will if enough people ask for it. And again, my reasoning is it's like a ban tier, deck. I think it's just going to be too powerful, and people haven't played it against it enough, and they don't. Yeah, so now they've got the way to gain life. I'm just going to walk away and let them do this while I get my paper deck ready, because I'm going to go play some Legacy tonight. And in person, up at Boardwalk Games, you can watch video of all of our matches that we do on camera, 3 rounds each week on the Boardwalk Games channel. Just search Boardwalk Games Legacy, and you should find it. But yeah, they're just going to go off, and I think it's extremely unlikely they deck themselves before they are able to go get the Living Wish. Okay, interestingly, they, for whatever reason, passed. I wasn't following what they were doing, but they did pass back to me, so I am attacking in here. Maybe they have a plow. I'm not sure why it's taking them so long to win. Okay, so they're going to go off again. It's not fun. It's not fun. Yeah, so I was hoping to maybe find like an Orcish Bowmasters, but even if I did, I wouldn't have been able to cast it. So that's what I pondered before I started talking. So that part's gonna be cut out. Oh, interesting. They're sacking the actual Nomad. I assume they have a backup. All right, so that's fine. I'm just gonna pass. I don't think this Daze is likely to do anything here. I'm just gonna F6. All right, we're back, and they are giving us another turn for who knows why. It doesn't make any sense. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just attack here with both of them. I'm going to attack my opponent. They are going to block somehow. I should have given flight. That was really dumb. That doesn't make any sense at all why I didn't do that. Okay, so I'm going to post-combat. I guess I will play out another Psychic Frog. Okay. I'm just going to Daze your force, I guess. It's possible that they went through all their lands or something. I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, so this does resolve. I don't know. I'm like really stunned that this game is... Oh, I should have played I could have played both of those. That was dumb. But like, I'm just stunned that this is still going on. Like, what is going on with my opponent? Like, how can they not win from this position? They can't... They only have a few more draws. Wow. Holy cow. We won. Their deck just malfunctioned. They didn't know what they were doing, and we won. That was the least satisfying victory of my entire life. I'm not exaggerating. That was not fun at all. I'm sorry you had to watch that. I edited out most of it, but I don't know what's going on. All right. We'll take the win. We will take the win because I wrote that match off like 15 minutes ago, basically. All right. So just for those of you who are still awake, let's jump over to the deck to take a look at it again. So we're playing pure tempo, and like so far we did have a couple games where the pure tempo plan could really shine. My thinking has always been like Nethergoyf just seems like kind of like a less exciting version of Uro. I mean, it comes out for 1 mana, which is really strong, but it does come back. It's so much better than Tarmogoyf. I don't want to seem like I'm knocking it, but I'll be really excited to see it actually do something here. I mean, you could argue that it like bullied them into making bad decisions. Yeah. So we're up against a player named Noobrock who has mulliganed to 6 cards. We have what looks to be a really strong tempo hand. Let's see what Noobrock generally rocks. Jeskai control. Oh no, this is a nightmare. So what we're going to do is we're almost certainly going to take out all of our... if this is recent, yeah, this is like a month ago. If they are a Jeskai control gamer, which it looks like they are, we're going to expect a whole lot of removal. So I think what we do is we just float the, we get an Underground Sea. We float the Nethergoyf out there. They're going to plow it. Then we're going to Tamiyo, and we're going to try to Tamiyo them. If we get a chance to put back some cards, Fatal Push is going to be the highest priority putback of all time. It's like terrible against them. They don't really have anything to hit with Fatal Push, I don't think. All right, Scalding Tarn, fetch, basic island, ponder. Okay, island, ponder, keep. I'm here for it. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and Underground Sea into Nethergoyf. We'll worry about lining up our next land drop next turn. I don't imagine Jeskai Control is going to attack our mana in any way. I'd much rather just get like a plow or a prismatic ending or something out of their hand. I have no illusions this is going to connect even once. All right, prismatic ending, pass. Prismatic Vista, pass, sorry. The other prismatic card that deck plays. Okay, so here I think we go ahead and ponder first. There's no reason not to. It'll give us potential to find a land. This Wasteland is really bad, but the Brainstorm does flip Tamiyo. I screwed up and I took them in the wrong sequence. That's fine. We don't need a lot of mana to operate, and we can just deploy Tamiyo next turn because we weren't able to get both the land and the Brainstorm, and we're going to need it. We don't have discard or anything. We're just going to do our 2 damage, and we're going to pass. It will be really irritating if I have to daze something. I don't think I'm likely, but if Teferi comes down, Narset comes down, I might. Yeah, I'll probably hit a Narset. I'm not gonna interact with that. That was expected. Okay, so definitely back to basics is gonna get countered. I anticipated that. Like I swear I was about to say it before they played it. If they force here, that's not that big a deal. Okay, well we stopped back to basics. It's a win. I think now that we got that back to basics out, I mean they could just untap, play another back to basics. I think it's fine to just go get the island here since they've shown that they have back to basics, and sometimes people play 2 of them. I don't even think it's a card that you play 1 of, but I'm not a Jeskai player these days. I have played a lot of Jeskai, and I think Ruination is so much better than back to basics. Ruination, of course, being the 4 mana red spell that destroys all non-basic land. Okay, another plow here. Can't interact. We just accept it. We're going to start sticking Strix. I mean, we probably could have played that differently if we were more patient. Actually, I'm going to play out Psychic Frog. They've used 2 of their removal spells, and this is the big one, right? This is like the top of the curve, the 2-drop. We also have another Psychic Frog that we can cast next turn. Definitely sense Planeswalker shenanigans inbound because we took too long to get anything done here. Okay. This could be a Lorien revealed, which is actually not the worst because it gives us an opportunity to connect with Psychic Frog. Oh no, what is this? Wrath? Okay. And they're using all the energy. They didn't want to bank an extra energy. The Daze has got them scared. All right. Well, they actually, because their mana base is so basic heavy, they don't have a way to put Wrath back on top. So I'm going to just play out my second Psychic Frog, and I'm going to attempt to pressure them again. They're down to 1 card. They've 1-for-1 me a whole lot, but I've still got threats coming. Jace is scary. Yeah, they're probably going to Jace bounce Psychic Frog. Yeah. Okay, so it's still a 1-for-1 technically. If we draw land, that's not the land I want. So, options. Brainstorm, we potentially put back the terrible card that is Fatal Push here. We're not going to find anything because we don't have our Bowmasters main deck. I think we do need to play out Psychic Frog just to like get them to Jace minus again. But they're going to have lots of mana available, and they are going to have a lot of potential threats. So we essentially have the option of, I think there's actually a decent chance that we hit a land or we hit a 1-drop threat like a Nethergoyf. I'm going to attempt to Brainstorm here. I just really want to put back the Fatal Push, and I wouldn't mind putting back the Wasteland as well. All right. Unfortunately, we didn't find anything that does anything here. I'm going to put back Fatal Push. I don't think it matters this game. They are going to get to J-Storm here, but I think it's more important that we ponder to clear these bad cards. And then the other thing they might do is they might go up with Jace and look at our top card. So we want to be cognizant of that when we stack our lands. But we're going to shuffle. There's no way I'm keeping those bad cards. There's a general rule of thumb that like if you don't like at least 2 of the cards in your ponder, don't keep your ponder. There are, of course, extreme exceptions to that, but I can't imagine one of them being here. Yeah, I'm just going to any order shuffle. They'll know what we're drawing. We drew a C. That's good. I think for momentum, I'm just going to ponder again. As I really do need to use all of my mana here. This is a great shuffle. I mean, Borrower can put Jace back into hand, but that's not really going to accomplish much. Delta's not bad. We can double spell. So what I'll do next turn is I'll almost certainly Psychic Frog and Strix, just so we can kind of overload Jace. They are Jace storming, which I think is greedy. I think they should be upping Jace. But I guess they don't have a lot of cards in hand. Games 2 and Game 3 are going to definitely be more interesting because we'll have Bowmasters, which is the best card against their deck. All right, so options. Okay, I think I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and play out Tamiyo. And then I'm going to play out Psychic Frog. And then I'm going to pass. They do have Hardcast Force mana up, and I would not mind at all if my 1 mana draws 5 of their mana. Now we're going to go black, blue, Psychic Frog. They're only going to be able to bounce 1 of these. If they attempt to bounce Tamiyo, we'll just brainstorm and turn it into a Planeswalker. But I do want to draw one of their removal spells. I think if they have a plow, they're likely to try to plow and Psychic Frog here. Or to remove both of them. They are Jace storming again. I think that is a greedy play from my side of the table. Okay, this looks like a 4th Aerolingus. They're trying to right size it. Wrath. Okay, well, I'm just going to go ahead and respond by flipping my Tamiyo. I do have to fetch the Underground Sea here. Yep, and they spell pierce, so we are going to lose everything, and I think this game's over, but we can keep playing. We're not in a bad position. Our clocks aren't that different. I am going to be able to Strix into Strix into Strix. You know, they still haven't presented a single non-basic for me to waste. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start with this. See if this flips. They are still not in... Okay, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and play out the frog. I'm not even going to play the... I'm not even going to play the Wasteland because I imagine I can brainstorm it back at some point. So I think what they're probably going to do here is bounce the frog. But if they do that, then I can kill with Strix. So they may have like a big spell that they can finally cast, like a 4th Aerolingus. Brainstorm's fine. What I was about to say, I didn't complete the thought. These are beautiful basics, by the way. They're all from the same set. Like, is this Portal? Because they're not playing a lot of lands, like they can't go get Mystic Sanctuary, and Mystic Sanctuary is very powerful, and it's a good reason to play, blue duels is you can get Mystic Sanctuary, but they're at least 1 island away from being able to do that here. So they can't get back Wrath of the Skies. Wrath of the Skies would be really good if they had another opportunity to cast it. Okay, so they are Jace storming again. Keep in mind, every turn, like I'm playing stuff, but they are pulling ahead on cards. They went from 1 card to 4 cards, even with all the interaction against me. All right, plow. Nothing I can do. I'll just be happy to chip. Okay, Galvanic Discharge. Nothing I can do here. It's a 1 for 1, or it's a 2 for 1. They did get some energy, but I'm not going to be able to attack Jace, and that's the real important thing. Okay, so I think the options, I'm going to preordain first. These are, so I could bounce Jace out of play. They just cast it and they use the ability anyway. That's not very good. I'm going to put this on bottom for sure. I think this goes on bottom. I mean, it can bounce Jace out of play, tie up one of their turn cycles, and it can also come out. Actually, I think I'm going to keep this. Now I'm going to play this out. I'm going to play this out. Because we preordain, it's actually nice because we can put one of the cards away and keep one of them. I'm not used to being able to do that with Ponder. So they had 1 Spell Pierce. By attempting to Borrower here, we are turning on their other Spell Pierce. But I think this is efficient use of our mana because we're going to be able to Strix and Borrower. I don't know why they're tanking on this Mishra's Bauble. They must have gotten up from the table or something. Mishra's Bauble is not a substantial card by any means here. Like, it doesn't really help our Nethergoyfs because we've already got Baleful Strix in the yard. I will take a look at their top card. They've got a Ponder on top. I'm just going to go ahead and Strix here. Another Bauble. I'm just going to play it. There's no reason to... This is kind of like when I said earlier, it's like a 56 card deck. Late game, these are pretty inconsequential. I should have looked at my own card. It doesn't matter. I think I wait to upkeep, and that's when I bounce Jace. That's forcing them to, attempt to cast again. So I'm going to draw my card. Draw a card. Okay, these are great cards, by the way. I think... Yeah, I'm just going to bounce them back to hand. It's not worth... that way, it's just it's like a time walk, basically. Making them tap their mana. Force negation, I'll take it. It's a 1-for-1. Okay, now they're plussing me, which is fine, actually, because I've got like tons of cantrips in my hand. Another Ponder. Okay. Yeah, so cards that I'm looking for. I think I still have a Psychic Frog in my deck somewhere. I'm going to look for that. If I Ponder first, I see more cards. And I can always fetch stuff away if I need to. I'm going to go ahead and Ponder first. These cards are bad. My deck is like mostly bad cards now. I'm going to go ahead and cast this now. And I'm going to look at my deck. Okay, so we definitely want to shuffle here. The only problem is there's like literally no benefit. I think that was a waste of a card look. I should have looked at my opponents. I'll put these back. These are all bad. I'm going to concede. I'm going to pass because I'm just going to run my opponent's clock out. I'll do like that. I'll play this out just to reduce the likelihood of me drawing a bad card. I'm going to attempt to attack Jace. It does so little. And then I'm just going to F6. This way they can look at my top card, but I am going to be able to shuffle in step. So I'm just going to yield and in step. All right, and I'm going to stop narrating at this point because I'm just trying to time them out. All right, they Jace ultimated me, and I got them slightly lower on clock than me because I play slower generally. I have to make more decisions. They just kind of like lane go for a lot of the turns, and also they may be more experienced at playing. So, yeah, the clocks are pretty even. I think the cards that we're bringing in are... Negation is definitely a promising card. Hydroblast is also quite good. I don't think Tempo works well against them as an archetype because their entire deck is around like just having tons of basics and not having to worry about Wasteland and stuff like that. So cards that we can take out all our removal. This is one of the reasons I'm really excited to have Orcish Bowmasters in the sideboard a lot of times is because it's just really freaking good against these, kind of do nothing, just wait around type decks. So I think we can take out, we could take all the Dazes out and we could put in Counterbalance. Counterbalance could mess with them a little bit. I would just be stunned if Daze does anything in this matchup though. We're not going to be going after their mana, but our mana is so thin, I don't think it's good to cut mana. We want to have as many threats as we can. We want to have as much stack-based interaction as we can, and I think we've achieved that here. All right, so we are 1-2 going into game 2 after having lost game 1 of round 4. I'm going to play first. This seems like a very solid hand. I'm going to Underground Seed Nethergoyf. I'm just going to try to draw their fire, keep pressure on. Next turn we can Ponder. If we don't find anything, Ponder will make the Nethergoyf bigger. And we're just going to try to clock them. Which doesn't usually work, by the way, but we got to try. Also, we're just going to disrespect, at least during this first turn cycle, we're going to disrespect back to basics even though we know our opponent likely has it in their deck. Okay, they're fetching. I presume they're either going to Ponder or Excel or Nethergoyf. You can see that there's only like a 30-second difference between us and clock. And that was with them basically going the full Jace Ultimate. So they've Jace Ultimated many times. They knew how to click through to do discard, all that stuff. Yeah, they could have Galvanic Discharge here, which would suck because it's going to give them energy and it is going to kill my Nethergoyf. I don't have an interaction for it, unfortunately. If I had Daze, I could keep it alive. Yeah, that's fine. They know it resolves, so they're just going to put 2 on it. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and ponder here and try to find land number 2. Basic land would be very valuable here. Probably like a basic island. Yeah, that's good. These are great cards. Force. I'm not embarrassed to have a force. Yeah, I think I'm just going to take the land now, though. And then I do have the option of playing out the force. There's nothing. I mean, okay, let's say hypothetically we do go at island and then we ponder. That is forward momentum, and we're putting cards in our graveyard that we can potentially use to get Tarmogoyf back later, or Nethergoyf back. It is worth noting that they killed it with damage, so we can return Nethergoyf. I'm going to get an island here, and I'm going to ponder. We're going to try to get both of our basics out of our deck. This is great. So I will take... I don't really need the ponder. I do want the land for next turn, and I'll take the force. And this land is going to... it's going to both get us our basic swamp, and it's going to... Let's see, we're getting close to Nethergoyf escape mana. Yeah, that's fine. I'm happy they played this out, because I'll probably actually waste this next turn, and I'll just draw the ponder. I'm not sad to draw it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and open Wasteland here. And I am going to... they're probably going to be digging for cards, but I am going to go ahead and... The upside of a frog at this point is pretty good. And I do have a force to protect it. If they're forcing, that means I should force too. All right. So we do have enough cards in hand to help Frog survive Galvanic Discharge if that's the card they have in hand. I think a lot of these decks only play like maybe 1. Okay. All right, we might be able to actually connect with the Frog here. I'm going to go ahead and attack with the Frog. We connected. Yes. And now, friends, I believe we are favored. I'm going to go ahead and play this out. And I'll pass. And the reason I'm keeping cards, I don't want to ponder quite yet. I guess I could have pondered there. I want to definitely be able to Orcish Bowmasters, though. Okay, you're going to force this dilemma on me. I'm going to put a dilemma on you. What do you want to bounce here? All right, and I think Teferi's not long for this world. They'll probably... Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Bye, Teferi. Thanks for helping me put more power on the board. We're super duper favored here. Our top card, what is our top card? I don't think it's a known card. That Wasteland actually was pretty good that we had early on. I think I am going to go ahead and fetch here just because I definitely want the swamp, and I would love to draw a force here. Bobble's not terrible. I'm going to cast it. Bobble you. What's your top card? Island. Okay, that's... So, I think they're not going to have Wrath of the Skies mana. I think we could return a Nethergoyf. It would not be very large. It'd be like a 2/3. I'm going to go ahead and ponder first. If I can find a force effect... These are good cards. I think I want the second Bowmaster. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to play out Psychic Frog. And then I'm just going to have backup Bowmasters in case they can deal with all this. And it's totally possible they can deal with all this. But I think second Bowmasters will put them in the proverbial dirt. I'll play out my land. I think I can make efficient use of, especially if I get Tamiyo online. Next turn I'm going to have Tamiyo, Preordain. If I connect with Frog, I can flip Tamiyo. They can't really deal with flip Tamiyo other than through Prismatic Ending. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start by attacking. Let's see what they do here. They're just going to take it. Okay, that's one card. Now I'm going to go get an Underground Sea. Play a Tamiyo. Brainstorm. Well, you want to brainstorm? Be my guest. You're going to be super duper dead. It's going to be very hard for them to dig out from this. Okay, so they're going to 1, basically, after our Bowmaster pings. We will have time on clock for next game. I'm going to go ahead and flip her now, just so I don't get completely blown out by a Wrath effect. I don't think we want either of these. I don't know what we want. They're dead on board with the Bowmaster. Oh, I forgot to freaking plus her. That might be consequential. I don't think it will be. I can't imagine them getting out of this. Terminus is fine. They are going to need to also remove. Yeah, they're going to need to counter my Bowmaster here. And I don't think they can counter. They could have like a Stern Scolding type thing. All right, so let's see what we get. Hydroblast, not bad by any means. I'm just going to go ahead and do it now. Brainstorm. They could definitely get a Stern Scolding. Big bottoms. They said big bottoms. I have no idea what that means. Okay, cool. Let's go to next game. All right, I haven't seen anything to change the way I'm playing. I'm just going to run it back exactly the way it's configured. We've already cut the Dazes. I didn't see anything to target with Consign to Memory. I do think the Hydroblasts are good, even though we saw Galvanic Discharge. That was it. I'm going to try to play fast and close. All right, game 3 of the set. This is not going to do it. This is a terrible hand. I'm going to mulligan it. This is a keep. I think what we do is we put back the redundant Tamiyo. I kind of want to put back the Hydroblast because I'm going to put back the Hydroblast and I'm going to make them have a lot of interaction. So we're not going to respect... Oh, wow. That's a crazy start for me. I guess they just wanted to get it out of their hand. I think I'm going to go ahead and play this out, and I'm just going to see what they're working with over there in terms of the top card of their deck at least. Okay, Brainstorm, good card. I'll just play a Nethergoyf. I definitely could have played a Tamiyo there. I think Tamiyo is the better of the two threats, and yeah, I think actually playing Tamiyo would have been better there, because then I would have had a higher likelihood of getting at least a clue. We have lots of mana. We can fetch our basics from here. Okay, they're churning through the deck pretty quickly. All right, Ponder, not terrible. I think I'm going to go ahead and fetch first. I'm going to go get an island, and I'm going to Ponder just to increase the size of this. These are pretty good. We don't want the land, but we do want the Psychic Frog. The Mishra's Bauble is actually not that bad because it potentially represents bringing... yeah, I'll do like that. I think I do want to be aggressive here. I'm going to Tamiyo and see if they counter it. That's even more power to the Nethergoyf. But I think what they're likely going to try to do is they're not going to be able to Terminus. They're not going to be able to Wrath of the Skies. They're going to need double, spot removal. They'll probably take Tamiyo first, is my thinking. Okay, Dress Down. That's fine. That sucks, but it's not the end of the world. It's basically like a time walk. Okay, I'm gonna I think I am gonna go all in here. Because what are we doing? Like, if we're not going all in, they don't have removal colors. Play this out. I'm gonna pass. I should have gotten the swamp last time. Now I don't have a way to get the basic swamp. Yeah, I'll do this during their turn. That way I can potentially see more cards. Or I can potentially flip Tamiyo during my turn with the clue. I think this is a force just because it represents so many. It's cards and a lot of selection. I think there's also a likelihood that they force back here. We just can't count as a tempo deck them getting that many cards. Potentially digging for land. Wrath of the Skies is devastating here. I could, of course, just hold the force and try to counter the Wrath. They may have Spell Pierce, which is a weird card to keep in against me. But if they kept it in, they're rewarded. They are. I'm not going to pay for it. Yeah, I'm not feeling good about this game. I think we probably already lost. And I think part of that is just like intrinsically, they're heavily favored in this matchup. Not a favorable matchup by any means. We are potentially going to flip Tamiyo here, though. Okay. I probably should have looked at my own deck so I could see whether I wanted to keep the top card. That was a misplay on my part. Just little things that I can do better. Yeah, so that's basically a draw here. Yeah, okay, and another Psychic Frog. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just attack with everything. We're going to get our clue. We're going to draw our card, which is our second card of the turn. Tamiyo flips. I definitely could have put more power into Psychic Frog. In fact, had I discarded the second Psychic Frog, it would have buffed both of them. I think I'm going to play this out. I think I'm also going to draw just to see what I get. I don't think it hurts. Another Psychic Frog. Okay, with the second Psychic Frog, I'm just going to go freaking frog crazy here. And I think there's a high likelihood that we do get wrathed, but I have a backup Psychic Frog and I need to apply pressure here. And I also think it's possible that they maybe they back to basics me, but I have no illusions that I'm going to be doing a lot more for this game. Like the longer this game goes on, the less favorite I become. I would love for them to force here. I don't think that's likely to happen. I think the most likely thing is sweeper and then prismatic ending. Yeah, that's fine. All right. And our just like that, our Nethergoyf is 5/6, and we got the force out of their hand. So I do think that it was better to hold it. If they do, if they have another dress down, that's very good here. Next turn, we can bring Force of Will back to our hand if they don't sweep, just to prevent them from sweeping. But I think this is the sweeper turn. I would be stunned if they don't have a sweeper here, because they looked at a ton of cards with Wrath of the Skies. They could have just totally whiffed, though. The other, Jace, Teferi, I'm not really concerned about any of those cards. What I'm concerned, Teferi's, it's not a bad card by any means, but you're going to need more than that if you want to stop me, because I'm just going to keep piling threats up. Yeah. Okay, so Nethergoyf is going to attack them. I'm just going to completely ignore Teferi. Teferi is not going to be able to bounce something for like 3 turns. They didn't have the sweeper. They may have the Wrath effect. Okay, what do we draw here? They're going to get a plow, I think. Oh, interesting. Not sure. Maybe they're going to Pyroblast Tamiyo before I can use her? Okay, well, our options for survival. Oh, that's not terrible. That almost kind of makes me want to hit Teferi. I think it'd be a mistake, though, to hit Teferi when we could just get them like super close to death. Because we can just Psychic Frog 2 turns in a row. Hydroblast is completely dead while Teferi's on the table, though. I'm trying to think of what they could cast with Teferi that would matter. I'm sorry. I'm trying to think about several things here. If we attack them and then we frog, then they have the sweeper, we're dead. They have 1 white source. They could have put it like 3 cards down on their deck and then they just blow us out. If we hold one of our cards, then we're likely to... Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to attack... I'm going to attack them for 5. Drop them to 3. I'm going to play out a single Psychic Frog and I'm going to hold the second Psychic Frog for backup. Because they're unlikely with the mana colors they have right now to be able to remove both of ours. And if their removal is a Galvanic Relay, then we can pitch cards to keep the Psychic Frog alive. So dropping a 3. Now Psychic Frog comes back. This was the Psychic Frog they bounced. They knew this was in my hand, but they don't know about the second one. If they Ruination or if they do something like that, we do have another land in hand. Because this is what I'm thinking. They're probably going to have Wrath of the Skies here. They could even hardcast a Terminus. So I think that it's highly likely they have a sweeper. The good news is they don't seem to have another Mystic Sanctuary in their deck, probably. Yeah, this is a sweeper. Back to basics won't do it. They're passing. Okay, that's really strange. Well, I'm going to go ahead and go in. Nothing I can do at instant speed. I'll attack them with both of these. Snapcaster is coming back. They can block one and they can potentially blast the other. Oh, they can they can pyroblast here. Okay, and I think that's what they're going to do. So they are going to survive. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop another Nethergoyf and yeah, that's fine. I'm going to let them chump here and blast here. They have to do that to survive. That's fine. I can't do anything about that. Okay. Now, the options we have, we can play another highly lethal Nethergoyf, or we can play out Psychic Frog to incentivize them to Wrath, and then we can drop the Nethergoyf the subsequent turn. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'll go black, Psychic Frog. They have one card in hand. They have 2 life. They're not going to be able to get a card from Teferi for at least a turn. So they have to answer both of these. They can essentially time walk again if they attempt to dress down again. I'll just discard a card to Psychic Frog, and then Psychic Frog will be lethal. I think we just have to let this happen. They have 2 mana to work with, and they're going to need to somehow stop both Nethergoyf. Yep, they conceded. We did it. We just ground them out, basically. It was very lucky that we won, in my opinion. I don't think we were favored by any means in that matchup. I think we're extremely unfavored. So if you look, like, all these have been competitive. We haven't gotten, like, 0-2 blown out. We're going to try to fight for a positive record here. Like, my wins haven't felt, like, super satisfying with this deck because it feels like you're just limping across the finish line. Like, there were so many cards in their deck, and we just had to, like, see if they have them. That's one of the reasons I don't really like tempo. I really like to be the control player. But I'm learning, even if I'm, making little errors and things like that. Like, a lot of people give Delver like a hard time, like, oh, it's just like Daze, Wasteland, blah, blah, blah. It's a very weak deck if you know how to play against it and if your deck is well structured against it. And this is basically black-blue Delver. Okay. That said, Delver can just occasionally just win. Angus MTG. Okay, this player doesn't have a lot of finishes, but they do have a very recent finish with blue-black, and they're playing basically the same deck we're playing. Fewer Tamiyos, some main deck Orcish Bowmasters, a couple Murktides. Yeah, I don't see anything in here that's terribly surprising. They play a little bit more removal. No, they just play Shieldred's Edict instead of Dismember. It's the same. They're playing fewer Mishra's Bubbles. All right, the mirror for the finals. Not the finals, but the final round. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep this, and I think their deck is pretty weak to Nethergoyf from my side of the table, so I'm just going to play it. We're on the play. I am also going to play off basics here. Yeah, I think that's right. So what I could do, I've got 2 options. One, I could Tamiyo as an opener, and then I don't have to fetch. If I play out Nethergoyf next turn, it's not going to be very strong anyway. Yeah, I think what I can do. Now I'm going to play out Tamiyo. No, I've already played the land. I'm committing to the Tamiyo line. Next turn we can both Brainstorm and Nethergoyf. We'll see whether they go after our Tamiyo. I think they're probably going to try to develop their own creatures. I don't think we force to protect anything. We shuffle force back. It's terrible in this matchup. Okay. Oh, they're on a different deck. They're playing a lot of removal here. I think we just have to take it. Yep. Depending on what they're playing, it may make sense to put Fatal Pushback, but I definitely wish we'd open Nethergoyf now based on what we've seen. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go get a Swamp, and we're just going to Strix. No reason to expose ourselves to, like, stuff that they may have going on. Oh, wow. They're dazing this. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. Now that I know that they're playing Daze and Prismatic Ending, makes me wonder if they're playing like Esper Tempt. Oh, they could be playing Stiflenought, which is a bad matchup. Okay, this is fine. So we're going to be able to hit it when they don't have the ability to brainstorm flip it. So I think that's the right thing to do. I'm going to go ahead and ponder to see if I can find a land. It also increases the number of cards. These are good cards. All right, so here's what I think I'm going to do. I think Nethergoyf is going to be really strong. There is a chance that they daze it again. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to Nethergoyf. Actually, the bauble doesn't increase the size of the Nethergoyf. It is a big creature. It's a 4/5 already. I may actually force, if they don't daze, I'll know that they don't have a daze because you would definitely daze here. And then I can keep this alive and potentially beat them to death with it. I'm not sure if that's a good plan, riding the threat. This is the protect the queen strategy. I probably could have peeked at their deck because I was thinking, I'll have an artifact and that'll make it even stronger, but I actually won't. I'm going to see what's on top of their deck though. I think it's highly likely that this flips, but if it flips, I can attack it to death. Stifle. I'm glad to know about that. All right. They are on Stiflenought, almost certainly. Stiflenought Tamiyo, which you can watch videos of on this channel. I played Stiflenought Tamiyo with a blue-black as opposed to... Okay, I am going to force here to protect it. It's too much damage if it can attack. All right, they may not have another land. Wow, they don't have another land. Tamiyo is totally vulnerable there. I'm going to attack first and see whether they block. I don't think they will. It's a 5/6, doing some serious damage. Okay, the question is, do we care about Tamiyo? I don't think we do. I think we hold this in case they play out a Phyrexian Dreadnought. I'm going to play out a frog instead. Okay. Yeah, I feel good about this approach. Okay, second land acquired. They do have the ability to Prismatic End my Psychic Frog, which is something they should absolutely do if they can. Plow's fine. All right. They are attacking, creating a clue. I think did they forget to attack last turn? I can't remember if they played a Tamiyo this turn or last turn. All right. Okay, so options. I think I'm going to attack first, and then I'm probably going to ponder. I'll hold the Brainstorm in case I find a Tamiyo, because that is still a good play. They're dropping pretty low. I would love to commit a second Nethergoyf to the board. Looks like I can do that. This is a ton of pressure on them. So now they're going to have to remove two of them. They might be able to daze here. Nope. All right. Wow, Nethergoyf is a good card. Right? Like a 5/6 for one. And I can actually even bring it back if they do like some sort of, just if they don't exile it, but they're almost always going to exile. Yeah, this is fine. So I'll just push this and I'll attack for lethal here. They could have like a force. It's not the end of the world. If they attack with Tamiyo, that's greedy. Okay, yeah, and they realize that's greedy. Okay. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to start by just pushing, and hopefully that works and we can attack. 3 cards left. If it's force blue card, they probably won. Okay. They actually can't attack us, interestingly. If they do, we just kill them on the crackback. My top card is an Underground Sea, which I don't really need. I could look for another removal spell to go with it. Down to 1 card. I'm going to see what they're going to draw here, and then I'll decide. Ponder is a good card to draw. Okay. So the risk is I brainstorm here and I don't find anything and I'm like brainstorm locked. I know I'm going to find a land to drop. I think it's fine to do that. Just to worst case scenario, play out the land. Okay. Not terrible. So I'll just leave here. I'll play out the land and then next turn I can play out the other land. And then, if I need to emergency block with Nethergoyfs, I can, and then I can return. I'll have the mana to return. If they don't attack, then I'm going to put Psychic Frog down, and that'll be my engine. Ponder, they don't have enough land to both attack with Tamiyo and Ponder. Okay, so they are going in. They could have a removal spell in their hand. I mean, that could be what they're signaling here. I'm going to take it, though. I'm going to take the chance. Drop to 6. They didn't attack with Tamiyo. Dress down. That dramatically shrinks my army. I'm not dead. Here's what I'm going to do. Okay, so they get a card. They don't actually, like, yeah, they didn't have the mana to flip Tamiyo there. Okay, so I'm going to play out Psychic Frog. And these are going to become big again. We don't know what we're going to draw, but I'm going to definitely throw at least one of these under the bus. It's a 5/6. I'll have to throw 2 probably. I can kill I could get absolutely blown out in combat, but if I don't, I'll still have a creature to attack. So what I'm going to do here is, this will be 10, 12, and then they'll have to leave one of them standing. And whatever they leave standing is going to be attacking in. So I don't think I'm going to win this game. I could just Miracle Rip. They're much more likely to Miracle Rip considering they have a Ponder in their hand. If they find a Plow, they can blow me out in combat when they attack with their Dreadnought. But I do think it's correct to go ahead and put lethal in front of this Dreadnought. Okay, land. All right, so they're going to be able to crack the clue. I don't think they'll attack with Tamiyo. Maybe they should. I think they should attack with Tamiyo. They don't know that I can't buff my Goyfs any higher than 5/6. They may know that because that's pretty common knowledge that very few decks play cards that they can buff beyond that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to blocks. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to have an option to discard here. Okay, so they're doing the damage to Psychic Frog. Okay, once they've ordered the blockers, I will discard this Underground Sea to it. And then one of my Goyfs is going to survive, and I can bring the other Goyf back after combat. And I actually have 2 baubles. I have lots of artifacts. Discard a card. This will be 12 damage. And now, if they have a Plow, they can blow me out. All right. They didn't do it, so we kill their Dreadnought. And we have a Goyf in play. What are they fetching? They're fetching to 7. If they have another dress down, that's catastrophic for us. But a Plow is catastrophic as well. Cracking a clue. That does flip Tamiyo. Tamiyo is a dead Tamiyo next turn. I don't think it's responsible to leave that on the table when they can just use the minus ability to go get a Plow before I can kill them. So I am going to be attacking Tamiyo for lethal here. Let's see what I draw. That's not a good draw. So I'm going to go ahead and go to combat here. I'll attack Tamiyo. She's going to die. Okay, and then I'm going to bring back my other Nethergoyf so that I have lethal pressure. Boom. And we are going to bring, we'll do, let's see, we got plenty of land. So land, sorcery, instant, artifact. And these should still be 5/6s, I believe. I should have played this out in case they drew a Daze, but actually they drew a Force, so it's not the end of the world. I can bring it back next turn. Next turn, I will play out the land. I don't know why I held that. I was hoping, yeah, there's not really a good reason to hold it there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and attack and see what they do. This is not quite lethal. I would love for them to drop to 1 here. Shuts off a lot of things they can do. Okay, now I'll play this out. And we're going to do this again. We're going to get rid of Psychic Frog, land, instant. Oh, they just scooped. All right, that was great. Got game 1 against Swords of Plowshares deck. Also a tempo deck. Orcish Bowmasters feels pretty good. Nothing else is really good other than Orcish Bowmasters. Orcish Bowmasters is not fantastic though, but it's not terrible. They don't have sweepers. Orcish Bowmasters goes wide, and it also punishes cantrips. Brazen Borrower should stay in. I think Dismember can come out. Like, it's just not good. Like, we don't want to pay 4 life to kill a Tamiyo, and we're not going to be able to hit the Dreadnoughts. They're not playing Psychic Frog, I don't think. So, what do we take out? Baleful Strix actually trades quite favorably with, if they attack. They can't attack into Strix. Strix is good here. We're on the draw. We can just cut some number of Dazes. I do want to keep the forces because it is powerful when you can stop like a stifle on a Dreadnought or something like that. Yeah, I think we just overwhelm them with threats and worry less about Dazes because we're going to get our mana out, and this is going to be a long, grindy game. I don't have any illusions of this being an explosive game where we just like. I'm actually surprised we won it as quickly as we did, but that is a testament to the power of aggression. All right, final round. Game 2, we're up a game. We are 2-2 in the series. This is a keeper, and I'll tell you why this is a keeper, because it's slow, it's got basics, it has Wasteland, which can occasionally cheese. I probably won't use it, but sometimes an opponent, like, they're playing a low lane count. If they just go Tundra, go, I am going to waste them. Because I've got like a super duper slow hand. This Bauble, I'm just going to fire it off and replace it with a relevant card. If we draw a Force, we've got plenty of cards to pitch to Force. Strix is great. This is a fantastic hand. It's not a high pressure hand though. Okay. So what this tells me is, first of all, oof. I think we wait a turn just to get it in around Daze. What I can do is I can play this out, and maybe they'll hold it up thinking they can stifle me, but then they can stifle me if they had Daze. The other alternative, I mean, if I put this out there, it's always just kind of like chilling there, like, but it's kind of phantom tempo because if they crack, I will crack it. I'm gonna cast, and I'm gonna go ahead and do it now. See what they're drawing. They'll probably shuffle as a result, and when they do, I can shuffle myself. Do I want to do that? Okay. Dress Down is a very good card for them. If I stop and think for a second, that might make them think that I have a stifle. No, I'm going to hold it. I don't think they have a stifle because they probably would have like held it up. They wouldn't have. So we did kind of get information that they probably don't have stifle right now. Okay, and that'll be a good card to waste next turn. I'm glad they put away the Dress Down. Dress Down is really strong, obviously for turning off Nethergoyf, but also enabling their more degenerate things. That's a great pickup. So I think next turn, we probably Underground Sea, and then we can Wasteland, and then we can Nethergoyf around Daze. Wow. Oh, never mind. They had a land. Okay, so Island, Tamiyo. Okay, that's fine. I'm not that concerned about interacting with Tamiyo. I'll just take an organic draw. Brainstorm's good. This is our fetch for Brainstorm, but I like the idea of going ahead, getting the Underground Sea, and then if they want to waste us, like they waste us down, but we've got lots of resources on the table. They are going to be taking up their Tamiyo, but Tamiyo is not very good if they can't flip her. I would love for them to get spooked and daze that, just because they know that, you know, slow motion car crash of my Wasteland coming from their Meticulous Archive. They have gotten value out of it. All right, so if they attack here, we just have to see how many lands they have. If they have a Wasteland and they fired at me, that's great because I have lots of land. So I'm kind of like almost baiting the land out. They did it without attacking, which was a misplay. They could have attacked for free and then gotten a clue there. I don't think they're going to be able to outrun Nethergoyf, though. What I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to cast Baleful Strix, and if they make a mistake, and if they daze it, then I'm going to be able to do massive damage. Okay, they might have a plow for this. They are getting their basics, which is wise. They are ending this. Yep, that happened. Okay, so we are kind of like in a tempo bind here. We do need to start doing things. If we Psychic Frog and they daze, that sucks. If they don't Daze, then we have a Psychic Frog. I think we do it. And then we have another Psychic Frog next turn, which we can cast around Daze. But Tamiyo is going to become very problematic very quickly. Okay, Frog resolved. However, we are going to have to pitch at least one card to make Frog connect for damage. Yep. They're Tamiyoing here. So really the best card in our deck that we can draw at this point is Bowmaster. Bowmaster is great against Tamiyo ultimates. So they didn't have a Daze last turn. What are our options? There's nothing that can remove her. There is Brazen Borrower. Okay, I'm going to try to find a Brazen Borrower here. And then I can shuffle away some of the dead cards. Okay, these are dead cards for sure. We don't need this many lands. So I'm going to play this out. I'm going to fetch. Get another Underground Sea. And we're going to do another Psychic Frog. I mean, Psychic Frog could still connect. I don't think it's going to. But next turn, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ponder, and I'm desperately going to try to find one of my 4 Bowmasters. Bowmaster could knock a loyalty off of her if we wanted to. They have another removal spell, to the surprise of nobody. And Daze would have been really bad here because they're just able to play with impunity around Daze. So if they can find a force here, they can protect Tamiyo during her ultimate, and there's not a lot we can do. But I'm going to try. So next turn is going to be ponder. And the problem with playing out Bowmasters proactively is they, what am I trying to say? So we shuffled. Let's go ahead and see what's on top of their deck. I think we might as well. They do know what's on top of their deck because of the Brainstorm. Dreadnought. Okay. So we've got Dreadnought covered. I'm going to ponder here. Borrower does bounce it back to hand. I think that's the best play. We can borrow around Daze. So I'm going to put Brainstorm at the bottom. I think we just need to do this. And I'm going to do it now while they're tapped out. If they have a force, they have a force. I wouldn't be surprised if they boarded out force on the play. Okay, that's good. Wow, that's very good. Okay. So what we hope they do is that they go all in on their Dreadnought, and then we can just push it. And if we can't push it, we can Strix. Yeah, that's fine. And Strix means basically they're going to do 11 damage to us, but that's all the damage it'll do. So I'm going to definitely start with the push because that is a higher priority. Strix is the higher priority because we want the card. We don't really care about our life total. Okay, that worked. Wow. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I think I Psychic Frog here. It has higher upside. Okay. The next turn we can deploy Strix in case they have like a follow-up. They're playing it like a really low lane count though. It looks like. They haven't had very much mana either game. That's fine. All right, so we're going to Strix, and then if we get a land, we can also... I don't think we risk playing into Daze at all. So I'm going to maximize the... Well, if I find another frog, I want to play it. I think we shuffle these. No, we can't possibly shuffle these. That has to be the dumbest decision ever. Okay, so I'm going to put this... Yeah, because we have answers to basically everything here. So I'm just going to play it nice and slow. I'm not going to play into Daze at all, and I'm just going to slowly control them. We're pulling ahead on cards if they don't force this. I mean, even if they force it, we're pulling ahead on cards here. They're thinking about forcing it, so I do think they have a force in hand. I'm actually really surprised if they have a force in hand that they didn't force my borrower. Okay, never mind. Maybe they don't have it. Yeah, no reason to play into Daze at all. I'm just going to chill. This can be pitched to ponder. We can have Daze protection in case we just absolutely need to stop something. That's fine. So we have Fatal Push on top of our deck. They don't have white mana anymore. I think it's pretty safe to Fatal Push here. I'm going to go and see what else I have coming, though. They do have Prismatic Ending. They've used 2 of them. They probably have 1 more on their deck. Yeah. I think I'm going to go ahead and play her out. I'm subjecting her to riskier, but what we can do is if they like Brainstorm or somehow go to a lot of work to flip her, then we can push with the trigger on the stack. They're really thinking about every card I cast here, which is great. I mean, this is like a really intense battle. This is exactly the kind of match that I was hoping would end the evening. That's a good card. I'm going to float a blue here. They're probably going to pass to post-combat. So we're definitely at risk of them being able to... But I'm not going to cast my Fatal Push into Tamiyo. I'll just beat Tamiyo down if they flip her. It looks like they might go for it. Okay, they don't go for it. That's smart. All right, I mean, and they only have... Yeah, that really sucks because I can't flip. I think I just let it go. All right, 3 cards to 3 cards. We've got good cards coming. I think I'm going to ponder and try to find a threat or another land. I kind of want to land now. This is what I wanted. I think I just take the land. We have everything else covered. I can attempt to flash this in end step. That does put me out of Daze protection. But I'm only going to do that if it's clear that they're not going to flip Tamiyo. I love how the Strix is holding back Tamiyo. This was such a good card here. Okay, they are attacking in. All right, I'm going to go to blocks. What is this? Dress down? They're cracking a clue. This is their first draw of the turn. Okay. What are they hoping to draw here? Okay, well, I think they just threw their Tamiyo away. I think that was really dumb. Okay, well, so in long games like this, sometimes like nerves get the better of you. I'm not going to cast that into potential Daze. I'll just draw a card here. I am going to go ahead and attack here. I'm going to play out the Bobble. They probably don't have any graveyard hate in, and every Bobble I have in my graveyard is a potential Nethergoyf return. They are very far ahead on time, though, so that is something I should be cognizant of. They got a Ponder on top. That's fine. I don't have a way to punish that. I'm just going to chill. I'm not going to desperately look for a Bowmaster, even though that would be really strong here. That's fine. I'm just going to put this in, and I'm just going to keep attacking. And I'm just going to be slow, disciplined, methodical, mongoose-like. They are the Cobra with their giant shrimps. I'm the mongoose that takes the shrimps down. I cannot believe they... Well, I guess they did waste a couple times. Actually, before I cast this, I'm just going to go ahead and crack this. There's no reason to subject myself to risk of Daze. Oh, they don't have Stiflenought up. Never mind. That was unnecessary. I'll just go... Yeah, that was a bad play. Cast this out. And we are going Brazen Borrower beats. That's one of the reasons we play this. This is a tempo all-star because, sure, it's a 0 for 1. Or I guess technically I put the Tamiyo back in their hand, so it's like a 1 for 1 now. They finished converting it. All right, I'm going to brainstorm for momentum here. Okay, Bowmasters is ridiculous. We keep all these cards. This is the least important card. I'll put this back. I'll put this back. I'm just going to attack, and I'll pass, and I'll hope that they do something that I can get a Bowmaster trigger out of. And then I will defend Bowmasters with Force of Will. They're taking a long time, which makes me think they stepped away. So I'm just going to speculate as to what's in their hand. I think it's highly likely they have Null Drifter in their hand. If they're playing like a deck that plays Null Drifter, I don't think it's worth playing in a tempo deck, but that's my opinion, and it may not represent the consensus of the Stiflenought community. I am going to go ahead and attempt to punish this. Okay, they conceded. Wow, we did it 2-0. Yeah, we salvaged that disaster of an opening, losing. Let's take a look at our matches. So we lost 2, but we salvaged the positive record, and this thus extends the streak of me playing Magic the Gathering leagues without having to pay any money to Wizards of the Coast. I already had to pay for these virtual cards that I can't even physically taste. Okay, so this was Stiflenought. This was what was this one? We lost to Goblins, and we lost to this Geodude Jared. I can't remember what they were playing. All these were pretty close. I actually think the deck performed quite well, even though it's not a control deck. It felt like we had game all those matches. Okay, I'm just going to see what Geodude Jared was on. I can't remember exactly. This wasn't the Goblins player, was it? Because I remember like we had a disappointing opening against Goblins. All right. Yeah, this is the Goblins player. Okay, so close out of that. And we did pretty well. Let's talk about the deck. Was there anything I would change about it? No, there's not anything I would change about this deck based on that one playthrough. I would have to play it a lot more. I suspect Counterbalance may not be all that great. I know that Harbinger of the Sea is really good. We just didn't have a chance to board it. We didn't actually board very much at all. We boarded in Hydroblast. I mean, Hydroblast is a good card. It is a solid card. It pitches the force. It removes a red permanent. There's Painter. There's Goblins, apparently. I haven't played against Goblins that much. Actually, I played against Goblins twice in like one 48-hour period. But, you know, Surgical, now Spellmoth seem totally reasonable. They're perfectly reasonable sideboard cards. I wouldn't take those out. The 4 sideboard Bowmasters definitely saved us. I think that, frankly, it may not be a main deck card anymore, but it is damn sure a sideboard card. Like, you should have 4 in your list somewhere, in my opinion, if you're playing black. And most likely they probably belong in the sideboard. A lot of people are putting like 2 in the deck and then not putting any in the sideboard. But I think the strength of this is we played against creatureless matchups where we were able to bring in Orcish Bowmasters, right? It was really good against that Jeskai deck, for example, right? And I'm not going to lie and say like we played perfectly. There were lots of punts. And in fact, I welcome you to note the timestamps of punts and say what I did wrong in the comments. That would be so helpful for me because I'm going to be reviewing these. And I always watch these videos afterward to like see what I can learn like as an observer, what kind of mistakes I'm making and things like that. So I hope you're enjoying watching these. I hope you're learning a lot from me. This is the 5th video this week. I actually did it last week. I only did 4, but this week I did 5, and some of them are like 3. One of them's like 3 hours long. People are like 3 hours for a league. Yes, it takes a long time to play these control decks, and I like to think it through my lines. And that's edited. It's actually like closer to 4 hours of gameplay. So at this point, it's like practically a part-time job, like sitting down. But you know, I feel like it's worth it because I'm learning so much talking out loud, thinking through my lines and stuff. If you just play and you just grumble to yourself, oh, damn, my luck sucks, blah, 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 you're not getting any better. You have to examine what you're doing. You know, the unexamined life is not worth living. I feel like that's absolutely instrumental to continuing to improve as a player. So I hope you're learning as much as I am. I hope you're having fun. If you haven't liked the video, subscribe, tell your friends that there's this crazy person who is a masochist who plays control decks 5 days a week and publishes videos where he, you know, eviscerates every decision and really like thinks through like how bad of a player he truly is and stews on his terrible decisions and things like that. And you can watch in real time as he, you know, pays his penance. I hope you're enjoying these in all seriousness. No, it's a blast. I absolutely love this game. I love Legacy. I love learning from you all. I love watching the experts in the field, the expert brewers like Max Torsion, Pokimoki. I love learning from these cats and just becoming a better player. And this is my hobby. This is what I do. You know, I work, I take care of my family, and I sit down and I play some Magic. And tonight I'm even playing it in paper. If you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, absolutely hit up Boardwalk Games. If you want to watch paper Magic, watch 90s MTG, but also be sure to watch Boardwalk Games. And with that, be excellent to each other and party on.